What up, fam? This is HUD Wednesday nights. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Come talk some Phillies. And it is draft season. Honey, Bijan, let's go.
Oh my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
Welcome in, everybody. This is HUD Wednesday nights, only on HUD Radio. Every Wednesday, we are brought to you by our good friends over at FanUp. And FanUp is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA contests, daily MLB contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D, and you get $50 right at sign up. You can download FanUp right on the Apple Store. Go check them out. They're so interactive. I think you're going to love it. As always, Frank Vespi, Greg Milanovic, Chrome, Ralphie D, Ryan Brodo, I'm Tom Arnone. Everybody out there, welcome in. We got a lot to talk about tonight. Phillies take care of business today. They take 2 out of 3 in Chicago. A must-win, a playoff-type game for me in the sense of we got to get going, right? We got to start winning series, especially against teams that aren't as good as us. So they come home. They got a 4-game set versus the Rockies, hoping to take 3 out of 4. And we'll talk Phillies as the show goes on. We'll do our NFL draft simulator. We do it every year. We'll react to the first round of picks and get a little jazzed up, get a little jazzy. Eagles draft rumors, our main topic at hand, ties into our poll question, which is brought to you by Baggio's Bread. And Baggio's Bread is located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They're home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, meatballs, you name it. Use promo code A2D Radio and you get 10% off your order. That's Baggio's Bread. They're located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Go check them out. You will not be disappointed. Our poll question for tonight's show: the Eagles should draft Bijan Robinson with their first pick. Do you agree or disagree? Let us know. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, that's where we're live. Everywhere you get your podcast, I mean everywhere. We're there as well. Hit the like, subscribe, follow. And most importantly, I say it every show, join the conversation tonight. We try to make it interactive. We want the voice of the people to chime in. Let us know. This is easy. And usually it wouldn't be. Like if you're drafting 10th overall, you probably have a lot more needs, right? And a lot more things to fill on your roster. So usually teams that are in the top 10, I say, hey, avoid that, right? Avoid it. You win in the trenches. I get it. This is a luxury pick. These are the defending NFC champions, right? Usually, the defending NFC or AFC champions aren't drafting inside the top 10. And to add on to that, usually don't have another pick in the first round. All right? They usually don't. So this is extra, right? And when you talk about a guy like Bijan Robinson, you're talking about a Swiss Army knife. You're talking about a guy who can do a little bit of everything. And when you add that to an explosive offense like that, the results you would think are going to be sky high, right? This league has become an offensive league. It's not a defensive league anymore. It's not about the 85 Bears, right? And the more weapons you can get, the better. And when you talk about a guy like Bijan, he's arguably the most talented player in this draft. So riddle me when you don't take the best player on the board. And that best player on the board is him. Don't give me any offensive tackle or guard, because let me tell you all something. And everybody needs to wake up out there that's going to disagree to it, okay? You signed your quarterback to a 5-year extension. So 6 years, you got to win titles, right? No, just go in, right? That's all cute, all right? You are defined, and your legacy is defined, hence Donovan McNabb, off of titles. It ain't defined by just getting there. That's cool in the street. That's hot in the street. But your legacy is defined by winning. And that being said, I don't want to hear about shelf lives of running backs. All right, I don't want to hear about it, especially when you have this 6-year window to go get it done. That lines right up with the window of running backs, especially the really good ones, right? You get that 6-7 years, and they're usually special in those years. And the bigger kicker, and the biggest, and I'll leave you with this, the biggest kicker of all, right? When you draft the running back that has his talent, right, at his level, right, and you add him to an offense that's already here, all the pieces are here, you have a chance not only to get Rookie of the Year, but MVP of the whole damn league. If he's as advertised, which I think he is, right? You got a guy who come in here and run for 15 touchdowns, a guy who can rush for 1,700 yards, or say 1,400 yards and 7 out of the backfield, or 7 catching the football. So when you can add that to your offense, name somebody else in this draft outside of Will Anderson that can come in here, and maybe Jalen Carter, right? Defensive tackle's a little harder, right? A little harder to put your fingerprints on it. Okay, especially when you have a lot of D tackles like we still do, right? It's Will Anderson and it's Bijan Robinson. They're the impact guys day one in this draft. They are. And I would love for people to argue opposite outside of the quarterbacks, right? I mean, that's it. That's it. These offensive tackles and guards are good names, right? Some are projects, especially if you're drafting them 10. You have the luxury of having another first-round pick. So if Bijan's on the board, I beg the Eagles. I know it's against what your thought process is on what it takes to win, right? But you have the pieces. So go win, not 3 years from now. Go win tomorrow, right? Go win tomorrow. That's the goal. I don't care about 3 years from now. I care about next year getting back. And the hardest thing to do is get back. And you add an explosive talent like this, you find your way back. So completely agree. It's him. And it's not necessarily bust, right? Because you don't want to go that route. But it's Bijan. It's Bijan all day. So I agree.
I'll go real quick, Ralphie. Like you said, Tom, and we've talked about it a lot the last handful of weeks to months off the air, right? This first time we're really diving into it on the air. You kind of look at their thought process, right? The last 5, 6, 7 years, and especially in that window to where you've gone to 2 Super Bowls, and that's with one thought process, building through the trenches. And I understand that. I completely do. They've done it, and they've succeeded with it. I look at all that, I'm like, yeah, we can get a really good offensive lineman, somebody that could help us right now, that could play guard, or somebody that could be Lane Johnson's, future replacement or whatever. And I can say, yeah, that's really important, protecting the quarterback. I can also see on defense, on the edge, obviously if Jalen Carter falls, I don't think he's going to, but if he falls, it makes a ton of sense too. So I completely understand. It's like, listen, Howie should just stay with his thought process with what has worked the last, handful of years until Bijan Robinson is on the board and it's your pick. And it's like, okay, are we really going to just outthink ourselves here?
He didn't do that 2 years ago, right? To your point, like he drafted a receiver in the top 10. Like exactly. He went best player available, And what are you going to let Jurgens? So you're going to draft a guard? You're going to let Jurgens sit another 2 years? Get out of here! Get out of here! Hey, Cam Jurgens ready to play? Let him play. I mean, knock it off. We're drafting another guard, or a tackle. Come on. If Lane Johnson gets hurt, we're screwed anyway. Paris Hilton, Paris Johnson. I don't know. I don't give a crap. We're screwed regardless.
Yeah, it's so true.
Damn it.
So true, though.
I completely understand why people are saying, oh, we can't stray from what's worked. I understand that, but a player like this causes that, right? Like, it's obviously a different position, but we talked about this in the Devontae Smith, Micah Parsons draft, right? To where we all said, listen, and it wasn't because of the Penn State thing. It was for some, but it was just like, hey, this guy's just an unbelievable transcendent type player. And he ended up being that and some, right? As we continue to see him progress, in his still very young career. This is kind of that guy to me. Obviously, one's a linebacker, one's a running back, but it's kind of like these are 2 transcendent type talents. All it's going to take for him to be in, an Eagles uniform is us to just stray away from what we usually do. And I say, let's get nuts, right? Like we got nuts. And Tom, you brought up the one receiver we obviously drafted in the top 10, Devontae. That ended up looking really good. Well, we went nuts taking a guy from TCU who's done nothing in college over the guy, I don't know, Justin Jefferson. We already went nuts. Let's go nuts, but actually a good way, right? Let's do it. I completely look at it and everyone says, oh, you got to protect the quarterback. You know how you protect the quarterback? Having an offense that can run through other things besides the quarterback. right? Like, we know how valuable the running game is. And I honestly don't understand when people over the last somebody tried telling me this yesterday. Oh, well, it didn't work for the Panthers when they got Christian McCaffrey, and it didn't work for the Giants when they got Saquon. Are we really comparing that Panthers team and those Giants teams to the reigning NFC champion? If we're doing that, I think we should just take a step back here. It's not comparable. It's adding that type of a talent along with this type of a quarterback, this wide receiver core, and one of, if not the best offensive line in football. It's that simple. So I absolutely agree. I need it in my life, and I think we need to get nuts.
I don't think it's even nuts. You're just going and drafting the best player on the board,
Fair.
The biggest impact player, and a guy and you run an offense that's like has the RPO. So when you're running the RPO with Jalen and you have a weapon like that, that's Miles Sanders on steroids. That's steroids. That's like Barry Bonds hitting 80.
He can catch the ball out of the backfield better than Sanders.
Well, better than first of all, better than Quez. Right now, they went out and made a move today, and that guy stole Quez's job, right? But and Quez becomes a fourth, which is what you want. You want length in that room, right? But Bijan's such a special player that it's you did it last year, right? You traded a pick and you went and got a guy like AJ Brown, right?
Yeah.
You did it the year before where you drafted a guy in the top 10 and Devontae Smith. So what'd you do? You gave your quarterback studs, which then led to him helping him get $255 million or whatever the hell, right? It led to that. So give him another piece, right? Don't tell me the offensive line's his pieces, right? You got a Hall of Fame center. You got a Hall of Fame right tackle. You got a left tackle who can block out the sun too. You got a left guard who's young and Landon Dickerson. You have a right guard who's young and Cam Jurgens. Like, say, Mulata's young. Like, three out of your 5 guys are young. Like, grow up, Peter Pan. Like, how young do you want to be in that room? Like, you got the draft. What do we got? 30th? Draft the project there. Drafted the second round. This organization has hit for years, year after year, late in the draft on the offensive line. So why is this year any different? Like, we got to draft a guy at 10. That guy could easily be Danny Watkins when we know Bijan Robinson is not going to be a bust.
Don't hurt me
like that. The fireman's coming.
Tom, I'll make it very clear, and we've talked about this. I don't think it would be nuts whatsoever because, like you said, and we've talked about it in the past, it's drafting the guy who can be the instant impact guy day one on a Super Bowl roster or a Super Bowl caliber roster. I'll make that very clear. I say let's get nuts because, number one, I don't think there is going to be a pick that would be more celebrated in this city by people if it's Bijan Robinson, right? Because that's how game-changing would be. But two, I think part of the city and fan base would melt just because I think either everybody's all in for it or there's people that are completely against it. I think it's very polarizing just based off of, the old, running backs aren't valuable, the whole thing that people will argue, until the end of time. To where I think it'll be such a polarizing / exciting pick, that's where it's like, let's get nuts. Because if it's no lineman, if it's anybody that's not, Jalen Carter on the defense, I think it's just going to be like all right, well, if it's Bijan Robinson with our first pick, I think it's like, we're doing this? Okay, let's go. Okay, let's grab the popcorn.
Yep. Who's going next?
I'll go next real quick. I 100% agree to the poll tonight. I think if he's there, you run up that card. I mean, you don't second guess it, you don't third guess it, you don't even fourth guess it. It's if he's there, you grab him, and then let's go have some fun on the offensive side of the ball and that try to stop me because now you give Jalen another weapon, another guy out of the backfield that can catch the ball at a great rate, great hands out of the backfield for a running back to catch the ball out of the backfield, and it's just another weapon for Jalen. But I think the only way he doesn't get selected is if Jalen Carter is there at 10, then it's basically flip a coin at that point, right? And then you go with if it's heads, you go with Carter. If it's tails, you go with Robinson, and you go on throughout the night from there. But for me, I agree to the poll. If Robinson is there, you run up that card, and then you just figure it out from there. To be completely honest, and I think a lot of people are just like you said, Ryan, are scared of the whole running back selection in the first round. Obviously, top 10 pick or top 5 pick with that as well. So I guess that pushes a little people away. But with the talent that Robinson has, man, Just go watch some tape, dude. Tape doesn't lie, man. Stats sometimes lie, but listen, man, tape don't lie, bro. That guy is a stud. He's going to be a stud, and I think if he's there at 10, you have to get him.
Yep. Who's up next?
Go, Frank.
Oh,
Somebody go.
So I'm going. At least this Frank commits to shows. But with the options that you have at 10, I mean, you have the cornerbacks with Devin Witherspoon, Christian Gonzalez. They'll be in good company. With the O line, you got Peter Skoronski, you got Lane or Paris Johnson. They'll be in good company in settling you. Jalen Carter, I don't think he's going to be there at 10, to be honest with you. So that's why I also agreed to the poll that Bijan Robinson at 10. I mean, he's going to be in great company. He's going to be in a great situation, a deep O-line that could have him last longer, possibly for 5 years. Knock on wood if it does happen. I mean, he doesn't have to be the true RB1 because, you also have reliable pieces around him like or a Boston Scott and maybe Rashad Penny, who's on a 1-year prove-it deal. I'm excited if we do get Bijan. I've never been this excited for any running back in the past several years since CMC. And I've never seen a lot of Eagles fans excited for a Texas running back since Ricky Williams. So I agree to the poll on this one, and let's get him.
In a different time too, right? That's a time where you didn't have a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's a draft where we obviously drafted Donovan. So,
Yep.
That one, everybody was all Ricky Williams, but in that situation, you need a quarterback. So that's a smart business move, right? Like we talked about, that's bad teams draft up here. It's like a free lottery ticket. Like somebody just handing you a lottery ticket. You ain't going to scratch it? Well, get a quote.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty simple. I'm gonna keep this agree train rolling. I haven't been, I'm a draft junkie. I get excited for drafts, but I haven't been this, keyed in on one particular guy at like a luxury position for a long time. You know what I mean? Like you as Tommy, as you just said, it's a lottery ticket, right? Most teams drafting the top 10 don't have the luxury of potentially wasting. I'm not going to say I'm saying wasting a pick because a top 10 running back is not generally a good value pick, right? So most teams don't have that luxury. We do, and you look at the other options. If Jalen Carter is there, then why is he continuing to drop, right? He's such an absolute stud. Why is he continuing to drop? How many quarterbacks then went ahead of him? Right? Did 5 go? Then holy crap, the whole board's then screwed up, right? You know what I mean? The offensive tackles, they're both really good. But are we really going to draft a tackle that's going to sit at 10, that's going to sit for potentially a year or two? Right? I mean, would it be a nice luxury to have? Sure. Just, with Lane, but Mailata's locked up. Lane's locked up. The only opening we have is technically guard, but that's really already filled, right? So if we're going to draft for luxury, why not draft a guy that puts the ball in the end zone? You know what I mean? That generates offense behind this road grader offensive line. We spent the whole offseason going and securing our back half of our defense. So throw the cornerbacks out, right? Because you just locked up your entire secondary, essentially.
Thank you.
And then, not to mention the first, Tommy, as you said, a window now is 6 years, right? And if you also look at those cap hits from Jalen, that also allows you to play around a little bit, right, with a lot of these luxury positions, right? You know what I mean? And stuff like that. So you don't have to worry. You said it earlier, Tommy, his contract works at the same as Jalen's contract. So, and when both of them are up, who are you picking? You're probably going to pick the quarterback because of the shelf life. And that's most likely going to be the right decision. So everything works perfectly for this to be an agree.
Yep, it's well said. Cromer?
Yeah, I'd love to change it up, but I can't. In this instance, I absolutely agree. I think you have to go out and grab him for a lot of the reasons you guys mentioned. And, the good thing about the Hurts contract is it is team friendly in that there is a lot of flexibility going forward. And in the back end of the deal, there's going to be room to be able to restructure his deal as well to continue to keep the train rolling. And at this point, they're going to have the money to lock up Devontae because of the Jalen Hurts deal. You already have AJ locked down. You already have Dallas Goedert signed to a contract. This is the spot where I Miles Sanders had a great year last year, but there was a lot of question marks through his tenure here. This is the one spot in terms of the skill positions that, and I like Rashad Penny as a 1 year or 2 year stopgap here. Guy could be an absolute beast, but there's no guarantees. This kid is young. He's an absolute monster. He's doubly as good as Miles Sanders was, with a lot of the same skill set, but far more advanced than he was at a younger age. And it's team friendly because he's on a rookie deal. It just makes so much sense. And to what you guys said as well, they draft really well later on when it comes to offensive and defensive line in the later rounds. So you don't really need to reach for anything. You could draft an offensive lineman or maybe an edge rusher at 30. I think you got to go for the top player here, and I think it's going to end up being Bijan. I do think if Carter's there, maybe that's the pick, but that's the only exception. Other than that, you got to go for the kid and absolutely seal up your skill positions around your quarterback. You'll have the line. This team might put up 35, 40 points a game, literally.
Oh, it's like an offense. It becomes like a college offense, right? It becomes like the greatest show on turf in a way, right? And I'm not. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick, and having him too with his skill set, you don't have to run Jalen as much as we had to last year. Yeah. He's going to take some of those reps away, as opposed to with Miles. And we know Miles did some of that, but it was still kind of a committee last year.
It was.
Out. What's that?
And are you are we going to really sit here and act like we're comfortable with this running back room?
Absolutely.
I would tell people to take a step back. All these guys in this offense are going to be able to run the ball well, but none of them have the explosiveness that this guy brings. And the only guy I'm not going to throw a remote across the room with is Jalen Carter. Unless Will Anderson somehow fell to 10. Right. But the only guy I'm not going to get upset about is Jalen Carter.
You're absolutely right, Tommy.
Because he's a game changer too. Mm-hmm. But the way I look at it and the way I watch the league today, I love defense. I love getting after the quarterback, right? I love turnovers. But you know what else is your best friend? Scoring early and often, because this football team, the reason for all their success last year, why Jonathan Gannon gets jerked off under the table, is because they were up 10, 12, 14 points every game. Me and you can be a defensive coordinator for that, so, and especially with the talent. So, when I look at that, I'm looking at this is more explosive than anything Kansas City's ever had. Anything. You look around the league, tell me when you have Bijan in this offense, a more explosive group in football. You can just write that. You can just write it down. Number 1 seed in the NFC if injuries aren't a thing.
You know what it reminds me of, Tom? It would end up being something like the 49ers offense last year, but with an MVP caliber quarterback, right? It's like all those weapons, a top type running back like a McCaffrey, in this case would be Bijan, but just somebody who's way better than friggin' Brock Purdy or Trey Lance. And a better offensive line too.
And they're not done. They're not done. I think Buda Baker's an Eagle. I think you can write that in your diary and say, Tom said something funny on Wednesday night. Well, there it was. Because, the guy can't kiss Nick's ass anymore. He's literally like a pen pal on Twitter to him. Right? And Jalen. And he's like, he almost heard Jonathan Gannon go, pew, 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 pew. And he's like, I'm out. I've heard enough. Enough.
You guys know I'm a Buda Baker guy. I have been for a long time. Listen, the other thing too, right? If you have Bijan there, and honestly, with Rashad Penny, there is concerns with injury, because if he's healthy, he's an absolute bona fide number 1 stud. If he can be there to take some of those reps as well, obviously from Rashad, can you see those two together alone? Not even counting in whether it's Scott or Gainwell, whoever else is behind them. Those two guys in the backfield interchanging on the offense would be unbelievable. That might be your best two-headed monster in the NFL.
And to that point, what helps, and I'm not saying we're going to be bad on defense, because you just locked up your whole secondary with big contracts, so we better not be, right? But what helps a defense
keeping
stay
the
effective?
Offense on the field.
having long drives with a running game that keeps the offense on the field, right? You know what I mean? So it everything goes right into our favor. When we were so effective last year, it wasn't the explosiveness of the quick play. It was the explosiveness of we could score in any type of variety on the offensive side, right? If we want a 10-minute drive, let's go 10-minute drive you. You want a four play drive, we can 4-play you as well.
Well,
right?
what else does it bring to the table? It brings the play action.
Absolutely.
Like I'm not clamoring as a corner. I'm not biting for a play action to Kenny Gainwell, with all due respect, or Bryson Stott. But I sure as hell and maybe got on my heels for a second, right? When a guy like when you get
Bijan's belly.
you fake it to Bijan, and then you got explosive playmakers all over the field. I mean, listen, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It's just with him and Carter on the board, I don't know which way they'll go.
Tom, I would say of the last 3-4 years of us really going into draft stuff, especially you and I, because you and I were lockstep on Devontae the one year, and then the year prior was Surtain. Or I'm sorry, it was the same year. Of those two, okay, because those were two our guys, right? Would you put Bijan ahead of them as far as your excitement to get one of them before?
No, because to be honest, no, because
I agree with you. I said Devontae's going to get a gold jacket, so I can't go running around and act like my excitement's higher for Bijan. Where I could say my excitement's at that level is because it's the final piece to your offense, which makes it really intriguing. And it makes it almost like I'm playing Madden on easy. And I'm a big fan of that. And Greg, I don't care. I don't care to go on a 10-minute drive. They might not even need a 10-minute drive. It might be scoring every 30 seconds. You know what I mean? And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but this is an offensive league. It just is. It's a passing league. And listen, I would have no problem with Jalen Carter and Gibbs, right? That's another home run to me, right? So there's other ways to do it. It's not Bijan or bust to me, but it would be that I need Carter and then I need Gibbs later on, because I think Gibbs
is really good.
Really good. I don't want to hear about fit. I love checks with that. Knock it off about fit, because I'll expose you all next Thursday. We're going to start talking about fit. Fit is talent. Talent fits anywhere, baby. Talent don't need a fit. Talent just lets itself out, right? It ain't about fit when it comes to talent. Losers need fit. Guys that aren't good enough need fit, right? So if you feel like a guy's has got to fit somewhere to make him really good, then then not a shot at anybody else. Then you don't believe in that guy. Make sense? They run an offense that's very similar at Alabama that we run here. Very similar, and Gibbs it pretty good. So I don't want to hear that he doesn't fit here. What doesn't fit about him? He can catch the ball out of the backfield, right? He's not as good out of the backfield as Bijan is, but he could be extremely successful in this offense, right? So, that's the other way where Tom doesn't get mad, right? Where Tom's I still leave extremely happy because you did it a different way, right? You took a D tackle who can disrupt things and is a special player, regardless of all off the field stuff, right? A little bit, but and then you draft Gibbs, sign me up. Sorry, Chucks, but I don't buy into fit. I'm just not that. Talent surpasses fit. 8 out of 7 days. 8 out of 7 days. Anybody disagree with that? Because I think the guys that need to fit are guys that aren't good enough.
Well, you're not. And again,
it's because they're lacking something in their game, right? They're either lacking, their ability to run between the tackles. They're either lacking the ability to catch the ball in the backfield. They're either lacking their speed to get to the edge, right? Then yes, that's where fit comes into play. What type of zone, are you running a zone blocking, whatever, right? So I agree with you 100%. If you're a top level talent like Bijan and Gibbs, you could pencil them in any offense and they're going to explode.
Yeah, or they stink, right? Or they're just not good enough.
Or they're not good enough to even be there. Yes.
Yeah, again, we have to remember for ourselves that we're picking a 10, but we're not a team that was worthy of a top 10 overall pick, right? This is a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. It's a very good roster, if not one of the best rosters in the NFL. So you're not fitting him into this is a team that has to really rely on the running back to be the only offense. It's no, it's like you said, Tom, it's the final piece of the puzzle. It's kind of okay, you bring in Bijan to a roster that already has the weapons in the passing game and the quarterback and the offensive line, it's kind of like the whole league's kind of like, wait, what happened? Oh, they did that?
Yeah.
And let's not act like Jahmyr Gibbs doesn't have home run ability either here. I mean, he ain't like, he ain't 4 yards in a cloud of dust. I mean, that guy takes stuff to the house plenty. So, and he, like I said, he's not bad out of the backfield. Like, I think that's a misconception of him because how good Bijan is, right? So he's an everything guy. I mean, he's a problem. I'm serious. Like, he's a problem. So I don't care how they do it. Makes sense? Like, they're not. I don't want to say they're at the same caliber, but they're pretty close. They're pretty close. Bijan gets a higher grade per se because he sort of did it with less, right? And that's why his stock's higher. But they're very similar in their skill set. Their ability to break tackles. Bijan's better than Gibbs at that. But in terms of home run-ish, in terms of running the RPO and taking shit to the house, I mean,
and it's a concern for some, players that I'll name here. But when you talk about like, okay, whether or not they're going to get Bijan, in my opinion, I think if there's 3 players, one of these 3 players, if not all of them are still on the board, I doubt all 3 of them will still be on the board at 10. But if one of Carter, Skoronski, or Paris Johnson are on the board at 10, I think they're ultimately going with one of those 3 over Bijan. Which again, we agree with the Carter thing, right? I would do. Does everybody here agree with like, okay, we're cool. We'll take a Jalen Carter at 10.
I'm not like mad about it, but then I'm like, I'm taking a guy with some history here too.
Yeah, so, that's the thing.
Got some baggage. Let's all not.
You gotta make sure that's clear, right? That was kind of the point I was making earlier. If he's dropping to 10 with as talented as he is,
and why is the other 9 teams?
Why are the other 9 teams unless 7 quarterbacks have went? Right? So and then 8 is Will Anderson, right?
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I like Paris Johnson, right? Like I like it, but I
don't need a tackle at 10. Dude.
That's the thing, Ralphie. Like
I don't need a
Jeff
tackle.
Stoutland is like a folk hero in this town because he turned a rugby guy who's a freak specimen, by the way. You all know that, so like that's bonus points. But a rugby guy into one of, I would say, the top 6 left tackles in football. That's great. They've gone the last handful of years in the second round. They've taken offensive tackle. Do that again.
Well, guards.
Fair. Yeah, offensive guards. Fair.
No, I'm sorry. 2 centers.
Yeah,
who
might end up being 2 guards again.
Yeah. So I mean, they took 2 centers. You can't make it up. So like, how you can, like I said earlier, right? You can do it later. Like it doesn't. Yeah. Like we're so stuck on like I'm gonna have the replacement.
They've always done it later too.
Especially Ralphie. Especially if they're waiting to play. Like if you're waiting to play, that's even more of a reason you wait.
Listen, we always say if you're a top 10 pick, top 5 pick, you're starting day 1, no matter what. If you're picking a tackle at 10. He should be starting for you day 1. You know what I mean? The tackle thing at 10 is just, I pass heavy on that.
Here's where I worry though, right? Again, when we talk about our chances to get Bijan, I think, and this goes to kind of like Howie's thought process, they might view Paris as a day 1 starter because he can play both. He can play guard, he can play tackle on both sides. Skoronski, same thing. To where they might view him as hey, you're Lane Johnson in a couple of years when he hangs it up, but you're also playing right now. That's where I'm kind of sitting back and like, do I really?
So, are you going to put him at guard?
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna go a little different here with Howie because Howie's changed his stripes draft wise. He's shown that affinity to sort of go best player on the board, right? Mm-hmm. He's done that. So where I'll say that's their MO and that's what they do. It's not like they don't have a pick the following year. Like it's not like you're like they're like 14 already the following year. Yeah. So it's not like oh my god, like if we don't draft the guy now and the replacement, we'll never get him. Get a clue. Because if that's his thought process, he should get punched in the face. And I don't think that's his thought process anymore. I think he sort of has changed his stripes a little bit, right? Like last year, hey, Jordan Davis, fine. I don't see him going D tackle twice in the first round 2 years in a row. Like I don't find him going after he just drafted 2 guys in the second round. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like being like a homer because I want it. I just don't feel like he's going to do it. Like, I feel like he's going to take whoever that best player is on the board at that point.
Well, I think we look at the board, right? And we say, okay, on a Super Bowl contending roster, all the guys, Fletcher came back on a cheaper deal because they were told, hey, we're going to compete now. Obviously, Kelsey, same thing. Bradbury, same thing. These guys were told, hey, we're still going for it, right? We're not really, redecking the cards here. We're not reshuffling. So if you say that and you're like, okay, we have 2 first-round picks, one of them in the top freaking 10, in my opinion, if I'm a GM, I'm sure we would all agree with this, you're getting somebody who is a day one impact guy who has that high ceiling, which comes with the 10th overall pick or anything around that. So, okay, if we want to look at day one starters, the only positions where we quote-unquote need a day one starter is safety, running back. Where else? The replacement to Hargrave? Like, that's the only other, like, what other positions do we say, we need a day one starter today? We're good with the cornerbacks.
Maybe
linebacker.
Yeah.
And I think and from everything I've read,
and we're not going to address that in the first round anyway.
Especially not in this draft. The linebackers,
yeah, and we're not drafting a guy like Lucas Van Ness. We're not doing that.
Well, I'll say this. I mean, maybe wide receiver. And people might laugh at that a little bit, but I wouldn't laugh at that. If they feel like there's a guy,
I'm not going to laugh at it, but
if they feel like if they feel like there's an explosive guy that can fill their slot, right? And they feel like it's now again, they would trade back, in my opinion. They want to take that player at 10, but that's the only thing like I could see where you could say maybe like not a need, but a bonus. Like that would be a day one starter. That guy would play. He would get reps. So that but I don't see them doing that, right? Because they just did it 2 years in a row per se on that. So I don't see that position.
3 years in a row, really.
Yeah, like I don't. Yeah.
We just missed on the one.
So I just don't see them doing that this time, right, guys? Like I don't like. I mean, Tom, I wouldn't be like shocked, but I don't see it.
I would agree with you if AJ Brown or Devontae had if they were entering the final year of their contract. And it's like, let's take a guy who could be our wide receiver 3 now, but has the upside to eventually replace one of those 2 guys. But
I'll say to you, after next year with AJ Brown, he's going to ask for another deal. So, and they got decisions to make. Like, I mean, because Devontae's coming up at the end of his deal. That's the only reason where you can maybe be like,
creeping up.
Yeah, and they're going to listen.
Got 2 years left, yeah.
And both guys are going to be here, in my opinion, right? But that's the only little thing I could see them maybe do. But I don't see that happening either. And yeah, Ted, appreciate the super chat. Why would you not be banging the drum for Bijan at 10? Like I said, if you only had 1 first-round pick, I hear you. I hear you. I'm right there with you. But you don't.
And Tom, to your latest point there with the wide receiver, I mean, that's kind of that same luxury pick, you know what I mean? Like that we're all have in mind with Bijan, right? And you know what I mean? The guy like Jackson Smith and Jigba, I know, at least to me, he's got a little bad taste in my mouth because he's a Buckeye, and also he was hurt and then sat out for the whole year, right? So how does he come back? But I mean, you want to talk about talented wide receiver? He's right up there on the top of the list.
Well, they're saying that this guy,
kid Addison from USC.
Yeah,
they're saying that this guy is like the best wide receiver of that bunch, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, no, you're 100%
that's come out
right.
The last 4 years, right?
Yeah,
They're like, you thought they were good?
It's just because Harrison Jr. hasn't come out yet.
Yeah,
but yes, you're right.
Yeah, then it'll be him, and then it'll be the guy after.
You're right. No, but you're right. Spot on. He was rated and ranked higher than even like Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, who did really well last year.
Did it with lawn chairs at quarterback, both of them.
Both of them.
Do you guys agree? Like, because I keep seeing a lot where people are very much against Bijan at 10, right? They're like, absolutely not Bijan at 10. But then then they'll say 2 seconds later, but if we get him at 14, they'll be ecstatic.
They're dry jocks.
I was gonna say, do 4 picks in the first round really make that much of a difference to you?
It makes a difference. Yeah, it makes a difference because they want the security of having whatever you picked up for dropping that 4 picks.
For 4 picks, I mean, this is not a you,
right?
But like,
which could be another first round, which would be nice, but yeah,
I don't think you're getting another. It's a trade up 4 picks. The 4
no,
spots, you're not
to
getting a first round pick.
Yeah.
You're getting like a
but
third,
he's not.
maybe
you're
a
not,
sixth.
yeah, you're not.
Which
That's
like a third and a
fleeces,
sixth. Yeah, if you're getting a third and a sixth, like, does that really mean that much to you instead of being like, hey, I value this guy so much? Because if you value him at 14, you kind of like the guy, right? Like, I understand, like, top 10 pick has more, like, is sexiness to it, right? Like, oh, he's a top 10 pick. But top 14 is pretty damn important too, right? Like, so it's either you value up there or you don't.
I don't get caught up in the pick where the number is, right? I get caught up in the drafting the best player on the damn board.
Berto, what's up, brother?
And I think all these guys, what's up, Umberto? I think all these guys, like especially guys you'll hear on the dial, etc. I think they show how like they play with scared money, and they say to you like, well, there's a recipe for success. It's win up front. Okay, I hear you. Our up front's pretty damn good. So it's not like we have a glaring need up front right now. Where is it? Where's the glaring need on this roster up front right this minute?
The only like quote unquote question mark is what Cam Jurgens will be. But again, is it that much of a concern? No, it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Is it a hole?
No, not a hole.
No, I mean, he drafted the guy in the second round. He sat all year. I mean, when, like you said, like I said to you earlier, when the hell is he going to play? You're going to draft a guard and then he takes this back seat? That's bad business. That probably doesn't make for a good locker room. Like if I'm him, I'm like, what the hell am I doing here then? Well, I'm never going to play.
He's not. It's not like he's replacing. We're going from again like Lane Johnson to a rookie, or we're going from Brandon Brooks to a rookie. We're like, no disrespect to Isaac, right? Like he was very good for us. But
I think Isaac's great.
But I think we would all agree he was the weakest link on that. And again, it's not a shot. It's specimens up there. They're awesome. But he was the weakest link.
Year?
I would think so.
That was Mulata. I don't think Mulata was good enough last year. I think he got a free pass a little bit. The numbers, like if you really dive deep into it, not a good look. But he was. If you remember, I think he had a tricep or
the torn pec.
The torn pec. So, obviously playing banged up, but he wasn't as good as he was the year before. I have a ton of confidence in him, not taking a shot. Isaac was just solid. So I'll say Isaac, your weak link last year, and we really air quote this, your weak link last year was probably Mulata, but we know that's not a weak link. So if there was a guy to lose, it was Isaac. For a couple of reasons. To your point, he's just solid. He's not a Pro Bowler. He doesn't have that that ability to get up there, right? Like Mulata does.
It would be very different again. Like when that time comes, when we go from Lane Johnson to whoever fills that role, because we know Lane Johnson is arguably the most, if not the most important player on the entire roster. Right. So it's like, absolutely. You're going from a guy who gave up 1 sack in 3 years to a rookie, or a guy who, sat for a year and is just like, okay, here's very big shoes to fill. You're replacing a guy who, I completely agree with you, Tom, was a solid guard in this league that was surrounded by unbelievable talent. And the guy who's replacing him is somebody who Jason Kelce hand selected who can play both.
We're going to find out.
Well, yeah, we'll find out very quickly.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully the only other spot on either side of the front I would say would be a need is edge. And at 10, there's no one at edge that blows me away, right? You know what I mean? There's no one from the edge at 10 that you're
Can you stop saying the word? Can you just stop saying the word?
Sorry.
Like it just triggers every fiber in my body. Just hearing edge. Like, when did we become nerds? It's a freaking defense end. Or it's an outside linebacker in a 3-4. With the edge.
Or a wrestler from Canada, but
I was listening to Chris Long's podcast earlier, Tom, and he said edge like 25 times. I'm like, oh my God, if Tom heard this, he's going to immediately not like Chris Long.
It's just like somebody started that and it just like went haywire. Where like you feel like you're the smartest guy in the room, not you, Greg.
Oh yeah, no.
You feel like you're the smartest guy in the room if you say edge 47 times.
Now let me ask you guys. We're talking about the Jalen contract. This year the cap it's not bad, but it starts to go up after this year. Devontae gets re-up next year, possibly Brown. What is the likelihood that they trade down or out of this pick to acquire assets for next year?
They got 14 picks next year.
I think 0.
Yeah.
The only
You have
the only pick
75 million picks next year with all
Yeah, because they get all the
guys we
compensation,
lost. We
Cromer.
got all the compensatory picks.
Well, I know that, but still, I mean, I could see them using them to push back for years past as well. Just kind of lining it up so that starting next year they can get multiple assets year after year to try to offset some of the salary already going to be committed after this year.
So
I hope they don't, because usually I'm okay with it. This is the one year I'd like to see them stay and take both picks.
That's the one where Robert says I
Would
could
it
see
show?
more 30.
Yes.
I could see more get out of
Yeah,
30.
I could see 30.
But not for next year, though. Not stuff for next year. Like they would acquire more this year than they would next year because they have so many next year.
Mhm.
So that's where, like, Chrome, like to your point, like, okay, they say they got 14 next year. Well, they can move and shake some of those for picks the following year and still draft 10 guys, right? So they're really in a good spot by losing as much as they did in a way to be able to really like be all in this year, right? It goes back to all our points.
Chrome, I'll give you two scenarios, right? For the 10 thing. And I completely agree. If you're going to trade back to it with 30, that's like the prime pick.
I
right?
agree
Like
with that.
every year.
I do agree with that.
The only two ways I think that would happen, right? Unless the team just surprises the hell out of all of us, is the Vikings at 23 because they're trying to get a young quarterback. I mean, they're trying with freaking Trey Lance of all people. So if they're trying with that, who knows what they're thinking. And the Ravens at 22, for example, if the whole thing with Lamar goes away, if one of those teams come calling, right, kind of like what the Bears and the Giants did a couple years ago, right, where like the Bears moved up to get Fields.
Yeah,
that's the only way where it's like, okay, you're gonna get kind of a ransom for that. But even then, I'm like, we really just went from friggin' 10 to 23. Like, really? At that point, I go all in. I'm like, okay, Brian Brandt's season, like, I'm gonna reassess some things. I don't think Bijan's getting to 22 or 23.
Where's Dallas draft? Where are they at?
I think
They're at 26.
26,
Yeah,
I
you would
believe.
still be
Okay,
at,
so you would still
26.
potentially stay above them.
but it gets you a lot closer that Dallas could leapfrog you to take him at that point.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna get Gibbs, to be honest with you. Either that or one of the tight ends.
Mhm.
Not that we care what Dallas does, but I think
Right.
they would probably do one of those two things.
Yeah, at first, Chrome, I was on board, but then once kind of the Bijan train started rolling, and even the Eagles helped, by meeting with them, right, and bring them to Philly and stuff like that. That you start to. I think Howie's sticking at 10. I think Howie's sticking at 10.
I hope so.
30 agree.
Again,
30
just a
can go either
conversation
way.
point to bring up here and see, if we believe that could be any possibility.
Who's everybody's number one guy that you would be the most angry about if they took a 10? Who's like your number one, like a void guy at 10?
Any offensive lineman.
Yeah, I'm kind of along the lines with Tom. I don't know the draft well enough to give specific players, but positionally, I don't need an offensive lineman at that point.
Yeah, I'm not I'm not like I don't claim to study draft. I know players, right? I'm never going to sit here and tell you guys I watch tape. I just know players. I watch enough college football, like a lot of people, and yeah, I'm staying away from the offensive line early.
And I'm agreeing with some of these comments. I'm going to go with Lucas Van Ness from Iowa.
Yes.
Who is listed as an edge, by the way, but he's really he's more of a linebacker than an
he
edge
stunk
rusher.
at Iowa.
He didn't even play. He didn't even start.
Yeah.
He didn't even start. And I know
Yeah, I
Iowa
was gonna
has
say,
the
he didn't
senior
even
thing.
start.
I know it has the senior thing, but still, if you're good enough, you play.
He didn't even start at Iowa.
Right.
Am I wrong
I
to say?
forgot about him.
Yeah.
Am I wrong to say?
Because I don't want to. Go ahead, sorry.
Am I wrong to say any of the cornerbacks? Like that would, like you just put like all of your money into the cornerbacks.
Yeah, no, that I don't see that happening at all.
Well, that's why I don't understand. All these
The only-
mock drafts still have them getting a corner. Like Witherspoon is on like 7 mock drafts I read today. It's like,
Well, I mean, it's
The only
not
reason
like it's not like I don't know if I throw the remote on that either. Like I got 2 aging corners.
Yeah.
Like it's not like I got 2 2 young pups.
Right.
And I will say that the top echelon of the cornerbacks are pretty talented too. So
I like them.
I wouldn't. I agree. I hear you because that's why I'm all in on Bijan, right? You just re-signed your entire secondary, go second, third round on that.
Tom,
I thought last year was the year to go cornerback for first round.
That's exactly it.
And you didn't, right? So
that's exactly it. Like that's where my anger would come from, because I would be sitting here saying, well, the last 2 years you needed like to fill a roster spot. You needed either a number 1 or number 2 corner, especially number 2 after Slay got here, right? And you passed up guys that, listen, nobody knows if these guys are going to be as good as Surtain or Sauce, even though Sauce was obviously going way higher than we could have gotten him. But it was like, okay, you passed up these guys. Now you put in money for Darius Slay to extend him, right? Like it was an extension / like soft like cap thing, whatever people want to phrase it. And you brought back James Bradbury. Now you're doing the corner thing, right? Like now, like just don't bring back Bradbury and then put money elsewhere and then draft a corner. Like that's fine.
Well, the thing is too, I mean, you guys talked about how many draft picks and how much they're going to be able to do in the draft next year. I'd be shocked if any of those guys fall off a cliff this year or even the following year. So really, to me, next year is the year where I would dabble maybe into that market as far as bringing in a young guy to room for their replacement.
One guy already fell off a cliff, so you don't want to hear it, but he already fell off the cliff.
I wouldn't say a cliff. He might have stumbled at the edge a little bit there, but I wouldn't say he fell off of it yet.
Oh, he's in the water.
Little trip.
He's in the water. You know what I mean? Where however big the fall was, he's in the drink. He's in the drink.
But I don't think we're at the point yet where I really think they need to draft that, or I would utilize that. There's going to be plenty of opportunities, I think, next year to utilize that draft capital for that. I think this year you're fine. Fill the other positions right now. I'm all for the running back this year, guys.
If they say the Eagles trade back to 16, Bijan's on the board, but they don't take Bijan, they take Brian Branch. What's your reaction?
Okay.
What are we doing?
He's a day 1 starter.
He says, what are we doing?
I think that's foolish. Right. And I'm all on for Bijan, but you sound foolish now because that's a day 1 starter. That was your criteria that you can't, like all of ours, that you can't draft the guy who ain't going to play right away this high in the draft. Right. Well, Brian Brandt's a day 1 starter. I mean, go have a seat. Freaking the great white hype. Go have a seat. All right. And go play special teams where you belong. Because Branch is a day 1er, right, Ralphie? Where like a corner isn't, like, per se this year.
Well, you said Ryan said Robinson, Danny, at 16.
No, Brian Branch.
Oh, I said if they traded back to 16 and Bijan Robinson was on the board, but they didn't take him, they took Brian Branch instead.
Or was on the board?
No, was.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are we doing?
They passed on him to take Branch.
Yeah, that was my thing. What are we doing?
Yeah, but you're mad about that?
Yeah. What are we doing? He's at 16. He's right there.
But there's another day 1 starter right there too who's pretty good at football.
Oh no, I'm not saying Branch is good, but I mean you move back 6 spots and he's still there for you.
But Ralphie, can't you just do Brian Branch then Gibbs?
If he's still there at 30,
roll Tide.
See the other factor I'm kind of looking at here is this might be their last chance for a while to pick this high in the draft.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
What?
No, not you. It's just like, here we go. Like they're gonna. Here we go. Draft an offensive lineman. Because we're not going to be up here again.
No. I think he's saying like this is your chance to get a transcendent talent,
skill position guy who's going to be able to step in now because they may not be in a position next time to pick. It might be 5 years, 6 years from now before they're anywhere even sniffing this high in the draft.
No, you're right. You're right. That's a great point because
if this team is built the way it's going to be for the next 4 or 5 years, they're going to be picking in the mid to high 20s. So I think you keep your 10 pick and you go with it this year.
Well, Chrome, I mean, they could always just trade with the Saints again. I mean, the Saints still don't understand that it never goes well for them, so we can just do that.
We got their second next year.
Yeah, I mean, we can just continue doing this thing where we're just rooting against the Saints every year.
Yep.
Yeah.
Somebody made a great point to me about the Saints too. The
suck.
Saints tried to do the deal like you saw with the Tom Brady deal, the Patrick Mahomes deal, obviously the deal we have with Jalen. But somehow this team, they make moves to give them cap flexibility, and they are always up against the cap. It makes no sense to me. Whoever is managing their cap and their restructures of deals, it's unbelievable how awful they are at managing.
Crum, you know why? It's because they put in obscene amount of money into a wide receiver who just doesn't play.
And then
right?
they also trade their draft capital away as well.
That also. You try and get a bunch of veterans who just don't play, extend those veterans while they're in their mid-30s, and then they're like, oh, Derek Carr is going to save us. And I like Derek Carr, but
Derek Carr, I forgot he's with the Saints.
Yeah. I actually did so. I'm trying to think of who their quarterback was.
Umberto, no, I don't think the organization is worried about how much Lane has left. When he's on the field, nobody gets by him. So I would think that, they feel like he has a lot left. Maybe not years wise, but a lot left, the next two, right? Like I feel like Lane Johnson's got an easy 2 special years left. And I won't bet against even longer than that, but I think he's still solid.
And we kind of need him.
Yeah.
And we kind of need him too, the way Howie keeps kicking his contract down the line. You know what I mean? Like he's always the first to restructure. So we kind of need him to stay around just so we don't get hit with dead cap. At least let's at least pay the man to play as opposed to having the dead cap come back to bite us in the ass.
Yeah, and I don't see Lane as a guy who's going to be like a Jason Peters who's going to play too long and overstay his welcome in the NFL. I think he's going to go out while he's still a highly productive player when he's ready. So I wouldn't be overly concerned as far as what he has left. I think when he's on the field, they're going to know they're getting production from him, high production.
I agree with Drew Evo. He said, I don't think they trade that 10th pick unless a player is involved.
That's possible. Yeah.
All right.
But who's that player? And I know like Budda Baker, I hear you.
Not for
but
10.
But that's exactly it. That's exactly it. For 30, I'm doing it. Like AJ Brown was the 18th pick, right? Like,
you traded.
Who the hell are we getting it with the 10th pick?
30, you get me Budda or Devin White? Okay.
I'll take that.
I'll take that.
You use 30 for either one of those two?
Yeah,
not 10.
Like
I would use 10 for Devin White in a heartbeat. Sign me up. Sign me up. I mean, that's an all-pro caliber player. I know what he is. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, as much as we love Bijan and some other guys, I mean, let's call it what it is. There's no guarantees here. Mm-hmm. With Devin White, that's a guarantee.
Do you worry at all that if you're trading – I don't disagree with you, by the way. Do you worry at all that you're trading for a guy that – you're trading the 10th pick for a guy that you then have to pay a lot of money to, and you're kind of getting in like a more – expensive version of what the Gardner Johnson thing was? Like if he was locked up for another 4 years, then I'd be like, oh, absolutely. Why haven't they done it yet? But the fact that you're trading the 10th pick and then you have to extend him.
Yeah, but the 10th pick costs you a good chunk of change too. So it's not like, it's necessarily cheap. I mean, I don't know exactly how, all the numbers and Jake, I mean, that's a nice little tidbit, but that like, the estimated cap space means nothing to me because you got to sign guys. So, it's might have 45 million that, in 2024 of open cap space, but then you got to sign Devontae, right? So how much cap space that have? And I'm sure there's other guys that I'm missing that got to be re-up. So, it's good to know, as it goes up, it means less guys are here.
So, so the 10th overall pick per Spotrac is projected to be a 4-year, $22.3 million deal. So $22 million over 4.
Yeah, obviously.
That doesn't sound right. There's a fifth year in there.
So that'd be about $5 million, a little over $5 million.
That's why that 30 pick is going to be highly sought after because you're going to have teams that want to jump up there to get that extra year of control.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought the first rounders got 5.
They're probably not factoring that in because you have to opt in as a team on that 5th year. You know what I'm saying?
Pick up his contract, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like with the Barnett thing, we had to agree to that extra $10 million.
Yeah.
Like obviously, I'm not trading the 10th for Devin White, but what What I would be interested in doing is trading out of 10, trading like 17 or 18, acquiring stuff, and then dealing that. And that's how you do it. I mean, that's how you would do it. I'm not clamoring for that.
Sure.
The people out there in the chat, like I'm not telling you that you got to do that. No, I'm taking Bijan Robinson. Let me make it clear to the people. We're just having conversations on some fun things you could do that, stamp it. And like, to me, the linebacker position, now I'm sold on the Kobe. But that being said, like, I'm not against another.
I think he's still only one there, though.
That's the other side of it.
Yeah, he might be.
There's a guy that I like from Texas. I think I'm from Arkansas. There's a kid I like from Arkansas in this draft. And if he was anywhere there at 30, I take him in a heartbeat.
Oh, the guy who he used to play at Bama, right? Didn't he transfer?
Yeah, he transferred out. I think it's Andrews I got it.
Let me find it.
Oh, Sanders.
Drew Sanders.
Yeah.
Drew Sanders. Yep.
Drew Sanders.
I like Drew Sanders. Not at 10, but at 30, if he's still sitting there, I like him. He's impactful. And he can rush off the edge a little bit for the nerds. All right.
The edge.
He got a high motor, and I feel like he tackles everything.
And he's got raw talent. Can't forget.
There you go. Oh, you're using all the terms tonight, Ralphie.
All the nerd terms. We're nerding up.
What's his hand length?
Oh my god.
Oh no, I got to take my pants down to find out.
And the Wonderlic scores. Let's talk about Wonderlic scores, everybody.
Yeah, I still don't know what that is. After all these years of it, and I'm not quite sure exactly what the Wonderlic is. I know Peter Schreger, who does like a good job with his mocks, because his mocks are like way different than the usual mocks. Like, he doesn't go off of like
his.
He doesn't make it based off of like what he thinks the fits are on teams. He makes it based off of, what he hears, right? And in his mock, it was Bijan at 10. Now, could that be the Eagles? A little cat and mouse. I don't know. I don't think it is though. Like we'll say it a million times tonight. Like, Howie's changed his stripes with this shit, man. He really has. Like, he's about impact players, whatever that position may be. And he's not like drafting impact players to wait. Like, Jordan Davis wasn't waiting to play this year. The ankle injury set him back. He was playing well until he got hurt. He was. Like, that's just factual for everybody concerned about Jordan Davis. Like, he was playing well before he got hurt. Our run defense was so much better when he was in there until he got banged up.
It does make you wonder too, right? Like, we've heard in years past that, Howie was not all for the Jalen Reagor. He was not Howie's pick, but scouts and other people. I mean, ultimately, I think Jeffrey Lurie at times too got involved in some of these draft picks that ended up getting it taken. So it does make you wonder over the years what picks were actually Howie picks and what were other organizational decisions. Because I think now that they've given Howie more of the reins in terms of the final decision making, he's done a fabulous job, and you can't deny that over the last couple of years.
Are there any guys?
No, facts, wrong.
And I know the chances of this happening are slim to none, right? Because you want to acquire more picks, not give them up. Are there any guys that you personally, if you were Howie Roseman, would trade up for? Say like Will Anderson gets past 6 or something. Is there anybody that you're like, okay, screw it, I got to do this?
Yeah, Will Anderson.
I mean, they have the draft capital.
Will Anderson.
Throw in some of those, if they can utilize some of those picks for next year to add on, yeah, absolutely. Will Anderson's a home run.
He might be the only one.
That's the only one I could think of too.
Mm-hmm.
Is there
everyone else? I'm just because you figure 3, maybe 4 quarterbacks are going, right? So you only have so many picks.
And we all said, right? We said Carter and Anderson are probably the only 2 where you second guess Bijan. And at that point, we all said basically if Carter falls, that's what we want, right? But we're not giving up additional assets to go up and get him. Anderson is a totally different story.
Yeah.
Without Carter's, extra, that's the guy. That's the guy who's so skilled that you would go up and get, right? Like if you take everything away and keep it equal, him and Will Anderson are difference makers, right? So both should be top 5 picks if you really want to be honest. Carter's dropping a little bit because of the baggage, right? So, but all things being equal, both those guys are right there on home run, can't miss, impact guys day one. Where I think Carter
should be 1 and 2 picks if quarterbacks weren't involved.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you're really
it should be 1 or 2 picks anyway.
And Bijan would be 3. Like, we take all the quarterbacks out. Now, you can rank them any way you want to, but they're the top 3 players in this draft outside of the quarterback.
The reason why I asked that,
with the quarterbacks, but that's just not the way the draft works.
Right? I agree with you, Greg. I agree with you.
Well, I think Bryce Young's really good. So
I agree.
We do.
The reason why I asked that was I was interested to see if anyone was really high on Tyree. To see, like, and I'm not saying Tyree's not good, right?
Tyree who?
Wilson.
I don't know who the fuck that is.
From Edge.
Tyree
from
Wilson
Texas Tech.
from Texas Tech.
Yeah. No, I'm good.
School worries me.
Yeah, I don't know who he is.
I hear you.
I watch ACC football.
I knew who you were talking about, but the school worries me. Like, who are you really stopping at Texas Tech? You were 4-12.
Oh, yeah, you're playing in the Big 12. Yeah, you're not like
no defense.
They don't play defense.
There's no defense.
Yeah, I don't even know who he is. Like, I'm not trying to be a jokester. I never heard of him until the name just got brought up. I heard a lot of guys in this draft. That's one name that hasn't came across my desk yet. Until now, there's always a first. So no, I'm not going for a guy I haven't heard of. That being said, watch, he'll put a gold jacket on in 20
You watch,
years.
he'll end up being the Eagles pick. You watch, he'll be the Eagles pick.
And again, I don't think we have a lot of need for a defensive end right now.
Oh, he's not going to start. That's what I'm saying. Like, unless the guy is transcendent, like he's not playing over the guys we have.
Yeah, our need at defensive end is just depth.
Yes,
it's not like a day one starter.
Yeah, get him in the 3rd round. It's fine.
Yeah.
So, John, thanks for another super chat, brother.
Thank you.
We love you. We really appreciate it. He says, say we draft Robinson at 10 and stay at 30. Give me a name you would love to have with our second first rounder. Yes.
Again, I want Brian Breeze.
Brian Breezy.
Ooh, cool.
I like Brian. Yeah,
Brian Branch. I hope he falls. I hope he's a guy that maybe there's some question marks size wise, arm length wise, that these nerds want to put out there. So I would hope a guy like Brian Branch maybe falls into my lap. And then if that somehow happened, this is the biggest home run draft of Howie Roseman's career.
I'm interested to see if a certain name comes up. I'll go last.
You can give me Hendon Hooker. No, I'm kidding.
I'm like, wait, what?
Listen, I can't give you a name. Again, positionally, though, I'm looking at some kind of a defensive end or possibly a safety or some kind of a secondary help at this pick.
It's got to be a safety. We talk about, right, Cromer? If we talk about top 10 has to play right away, well, so does 30 in a way.
Yeah.
Like, this team does have some holes.
Play or be close to ready to play.
Agreed. Like, if it's a corner, like, I'm not, depending on who it would be, you're not mad at it. You're like, okay, I see why, right? Because you want to be a little deeper there. They're not deep enough at corner, let's be honest, right? You're an injury away from saying, Zeke McPherson, he stinks. So you don't really want that, right? So I could see if not corner there, definitely in the second round. Like, I think one's coming. I just don't know when.
So
maybe you take a defensive tackle here and try to fill some of that void where you're going to miss with Hargrave. But I'm looking defensive line or safety help at this position.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at defensive line. I got 3 names in mind for the second first round pick. I mean,
love to see it. Yeah, well, hold on.
I know
Frank,
a lot of people are pretty high on Pittsburgh.
Billy Blue Balls / Bills. We signed Greedy Williams. Yeah, well, he might have got hurt signing the contract, Billy. So I can't. I love me some Greedy, but got to be healthy. That's all. Sorry, Frank. Go ahead.
I mean, I do like Kalijah Cansey from Pittsburgh. The other two, Felix and Adike Uzoma.
God bless you.
I know he might be.
I think he just wanted to
hanging out at the.
He did.
Thank you.
His jock's really
well.
dry right
then
now.
The third name I'm looking at. A lot of people were that Howie is really high
Here
on.
you go.
Oh, here you go. He wants to say this name.
The,
Say this
The
name.
D lineman from Northwestern, Adiwa Adebowore.
Yeah, I'll just pass. I'll just say pass.
I actually watched
Those
some
are
of
the
his
three.
stuff the other night. He looks like I don't know if I'll be mad at it, but I wasn't going to try and say that name.
But Tom, to your point though, that's where your Drew Rogers might be in play there at 30.
Oh, and of course Don, yes.
You could get I think the tight end from, if you want to go tight end, to John's point, the tight end from Notre Dame might be in that range.
Tight end's not a bad pick. I just want to make that clear here. Dallas got hurt every year. I mean, death taxes, Dallas misses 4 games. And I love Dallas, but you can book it. He's missing 4 games next year.
And they've always done this, right? You drafted Dallas about this time in Zach Ertz's contract, too.
The same time. He was the same age.
Yeah.
The same age. Yeah.
I got to look at some more tight ends. Like, I don't know enough
It's the
about
replacements.
the tight end from Washington. That's this moose knuckle of a human. So I don't know who he is.
6'8", Jesus Christ.
I mean, 6'8" just sounds good, John. I agree with you.
I
Sounds good to
do.
me. Is that Chip Kelly back? Yeah, big guys beat up on
right.
small guys. Love
Holy
it.
Shit.
Love it. I mean, imagine Bijan and a guy
The
that's
fact that you
6'8"
call him
blocking
Moose
for him.
Knuckle is very interesting.
Is his name Moose or Knuckle? Big Trek. I love me some Brock
the
Bowers.
The fact that you said Moose Knuckle just brought me flashbacks of this meme.
Brock Bowers, yes.
from high school.
I don't know when the last time I said Moose Knuckle is either, Frank. It's been a while.
Moose.
Tom, when you talk about corner, if they go
he's from Bama. When you said Washington, I thought you meant like the University of Washington.
Washington, Georgia.
They're all from Georgia. Oh, the other guy. Yeah.
Number 0.
Sign me up for that moose of a man. Yeah, he's a problem. Give me both. I mean, can Bowers just come out early?
Yeah,
we'll
right.
go triple tight end sets. Never happened in the history of football. The Eagles went triple tight end sets with Bijan in the backfield.
Speaking, I heard Chip Kelly's name thrown out there. I will say, late in the draft, he does have that wide receiver, Bobo.
Go
draft me
Bobo.
Bobo.
Got a running back, too.
UCLA.
Yeah.
He does.
I forget. Yes, the running back.
Guys, take Ryan Carter. Take goddamn. I
Zach
like
Charbonnet.
You got to take
Charbonnet.
Greedy Williams out of this list of
Charbonnet
guys
games,
that
I
are
love
here.
it.
he's
Zach
like
Charbonnet.
arguably under McPherson in the depth chart, guys.
It's not that he's better than McPherson if he's healthy, but that's the problem.
if he's healthy, yes.
I
correct.
can't like count on Greedy to be healthy, right? But
That's just been his problem since he's got into the league.
If they go Kelly Ringo, the guy from Georgia, with their second pick, you fine with that?
I like Kelly. I don't really get involved. You know me by now. Like, I don't care about like how he dropped him. You see him drop a couple passes at the combine? Like, cool story, dude. There's guys who catch everything, and when the lights turn on, their freaking hands shrink up. So he's a hitter. He's going to lay the wood on you, and he's another Power 5 guy, man, that wins. That's part of a culture of winning. Like, when you talk about that, I think there's a coincidence here. Goddamn, for years I've been telling this team to go to Bama, go to Georgia, go to the schools that win. And when they do, right, where do they end up back to? You think it's a coincidence? Landon Dickerson, team captain, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts. I mean, the list goes on, right? And then you talk about last year, the Kobe, Jordan Davis. Like, they've went to the power schools. They went back there, and not just to the power schools. They went and got winners. They went and got team captains. Like, all that stuff matters at this level. You need the chemistry in the locker room. Those things are important. They translate to the football field. Like, I'm just telling y'all, like, I love that Howie listened to me. I love that. I'm never right. I could have been more right on this in my life. Like, I'm not telling you I'm going to hit every pick. I'm just telling you, sometimes this shit's common sense. Sometimes this stuff is not hard, but what happens is dry jocks reach. They reach for upside. Oh, you guys see his upside? Oh, my God. Like, this guy could be special. Grow up. That dude is special, right? That dude is special. Jalen Reagor, that's a reach pick. Let me reach around him. Where Justin Jefferson has scored 100 goddamn passes. I don't need to be the smartest guy in the room to know that guy's better than that guy, right? And then you fast forward to the Devontae year. It was real clear on who the 3 best players in that draft were, right? It was any way you want to rank them. It was Micah, it was Patrick Surtain, and it was Devontae Smith. Right? All Power 5 school guys, right? And 2 of them from a team that just won it all. So riddle me that these 3 guys are having success. This shit is not hard. It's not hard.
I mean, I would argue too, or to add to that too, look at how many young guys on this team have been national champions. That makes a difference early in their career.
Knowing how to win.
Particularly with the team now. Did Devontae look like being in the bright lights affected him? Did Jalen Hurts look like being in the big game against Patrick Mahomes affected him? Nope. Absolutely.
Well, one play.
One play.
Can't get it back.
But, hey, listen, he did more than enough to reprieve himself, though.
Yeah. Still, he gave away 7 when nobody touched you.
But either way.
But, yeah, you're right. I mean,
I mean, look at the young guys who have played in big games against some of the best teams in the nation.
Huge play, man.
Well, you know why I'm laughing. You're gonna get messages now from people.
Oh, you're a hater, Tom. Because you
that was a really big play. We lost by 3 or whatever.
I'm blaming the guy. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus for it, but like he'd be the first one to tell you that's huge. That's huge. And did he make up for it? Sure, but you can't get the 7 back.
You can't get it back.
I listen. Chrome saw my reaction when that happened. I fell on the ground. Okay, it happened in person. Okay, I just know that clip is going to get isolated, and it's going to be people are going to
come at. I want to smoke. I want to smoke.
I don't disagree, Greg. I don't disagree.
Listen, the turnover battle was 1-0. 1-0, and we talk about this all the time. In big games like that, the team that wins the turnover battle and gets 7 from it, usually is going to win that game. Right? Usually is. It's not a shot. Jalen was remarkable, man. He was special in that game. You're right, Crow. There ain't no bright lights phase that dude. But what happens is, not you, Cromer, but we talk about no agenda radio, right? There's cats out there that have an agenda and they refuse to just admit that play may have lost us the football game. May have. It's not the only play that was big when we don't know how to switch, right, etc., or make adjustments on defense because we have a loser there going ping, 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 right? He's a clown. So, I mean, there's more reasons why we lost, but, man, I mean.
I'm in pain. I'm in pain talking about it.
No, I'm not because guess what? We're really good still. We're really good still, and I'm happy he's here. Yeah. And I know people are like, Tom, you said for them to wait. I never said that they shouldn't sign him. I asked the question.
Listen,
like, what's the risk of waiting? Like, what's the worst that happens? They say, go do it again. The money's sitting right here, babe. The brink truck's already backed up. We're waiting on you. I get why you get in early. I get it. I get why you sign him now before the other guys. But there's also an argument the other side to be fair and have no goddamn agenda here. He's had one great year, though. One. I believe in this kid. Ryan knows this. I said give him his junior year. I said it. This was your breakout year for guys. But it doesn't mean he's had like 5 great years in this league. He's had 1. Right? So now the pressure amplifies. And since I'm saying all this, is why I draft Bijan. Help him out more. Help him out more. Take the pressure of the money away from a guy who I don't think is going to have the pressure, right? He doesn't operate like that. But take the pressure away by giving him another toy, something else in his garage to play with. Damn it.
Somebody tried to tell me yesterday that, we really can't take a running back high because, we already have Kenny Gainwell and Rashad Penny. If that's stopping you, just take the year off, please. If that is if that's the concern.
May his throwing Boston Scott at that point, too.
Might as well, because, he's good for 2 games against the Giants.
I'll take those 2 games, though.
Oh, listen.
I'm done.
I love it.
I'm done. I'm not going to sign off tonight. I'm going to sign off. Ryan Carter, I know that I watched the game, just like you did. But you're just dismissing it like it didn't happen. Like it didn't happen. Now, is it on our defense to create a turnover? Sure. But they didn't create one. We like said, you take it. You take it and run all the way down the field. No one's going to get you for 7. God damn it. Can we just keep it 100 here and just say, that's a huge play? But guess what? No time machines. We can't go backwards. It's over with. Go get Bijan.
It's hard to spot Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid 7 points and expect to win a game.
Yeah.
To circle the conversation back, what you guys were saying.
I don't know where we went. Sorry, Crumb.
No. Just you guys were saying going for the kids out of the big schools who have played in the big programs, who have played in the big games, has proven to be successful over the last 3 or 4 years on this team. There's no reason to go off course of that at this point. No more Danny Watkins, no more high upside, no more of the Jalen Reagers and the guys coming out of USC and all this and that who don't turn into really great pros. Go for the guys out of the programs who have worked with the Nick Sabans. And I think that they should continue to stay that course.
To answer John's initial question, defensive ends the move in my opinion for that second pick. Like I'll just bring up a name that nobody said. Yeah, I agree with all the other ones, but like Ojulari, I really like because not only is he somebody who can help you this year. His brother's pretty good too. Aziz.
Yeah, it just sounds like something just smell like a guy can get after the quarterback.
Yep. Not only could he help you this year, just because you have that rotation of the defensive linemen, Brandon Graham's not going to be here forever, right? Like he's just not, right? Like so, you somebody with high upside that isn't going to be a rookie that's like rookie that's immediately going to replace Brandon Graham. It's like no, you bring him as a rotational guy, kind of like you did to a lesser extent. 'Cause it's not a first round pick, but or a high first round pick that you kind of did with Jordan Davis. It's like okay, get your feet wet a little bit. And then eventually that you progress into somebody who could be your everyday starter, something like that.
Yeah, and if not like there, right? Like then that's another good spot in the second round, right? Like there's we get not you like as a whole, we all get caught up in the first, right? We don't. We almost forget that there's more. Like it's not over. Like you can hit some home runs later too, right? You're not gonna hit every goddamn pick. It's unrealistic.
Yeah, hey, we drafted an MVP candidate with the second pick a couple years ago. You know what I'm saying? Things could happen. Things could happen.
We're gonna go back to this now. You guys might not want to go look at that tape.
We still get comments on that. It's like aged well. It's like, yeah, it actually did age well. We went to a Super Bowl. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not the one who gave the quarterback before $100 million and then went and drafted another one. Let's not act like they knew this was going to happen. Yeah. All right, let's grow up one time. It was a backup plan in case he got hurt again. That's all it was. They had no idea that he was going to grow this much as a player. They knew about the leadership. They knew about how great of a kid and worker he is. They had no idea this was going to happen. Stop it. His coach in college had no idea this was going to happen.
And what's interesting too, like with this whole contract situation and a lot of teams run into that when you draft that potential successor, right? And they don't get a lot of playing time. And then the contract comes up and you're just like, all right, do we pay the market value for what a starting quarterback is? Or do we try and go away from it, right? I mean, that to your point, Tommy, right? We're sitting here, he sat for, the first year or the first 3 quarters of the year, had it, and then it was back and forth, and you know what I mean? So you had, to your point, 1 year. But you had to pay him just because of what he turned into. But that's the problem when you draft somebody when you already have a guy potentially there.
Last question I have, at least before we get to the simulator or whatever. Say for example, somebody trades up and Bijan's not there at 10, right? Say somebody's like, F it, right? Like we're just getting this guy. If Bijan's unavailable and Jalen Carter's unavailable, say they're both
That's
gone.
almost impossible.
All right, let's say it gets crazy, Greg. Say the quarterbacks drop. I don't think
there's always so many picks.
I hear you. I understand. But say they're both unavailable.
Mm-hmm.
Who's your number one pick? Like who's the guy that you then turn to? It's like, okay, I want this guy.
Brian Branch.
Okay.
At that point, I probably look to drop down then.
Yeah, I'm not drafting him at 10.
Or I go crazy and go Jackson Smith and Jigba.
The wide receiver from Ohio State?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
But my first inclination is trade down because if unless it's Will Anderson, right? But I'm assuming he's going to be one of those 4 picks that isn't a quarterback then, right? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
I got a weird feeling people are going to pass a little bit on him, man. I don't know why.
Who?
Will. I don't know why. I think teams are going to overthink him a little bit.
Well, I mean, if
measurable-wise, right, Greg?
If Arizona's smart, they're the only team. They're the only team in the top that doesn't need a quarterback. I mean, they do, but they can't afford to take one.
I think if they trade
That's
out,
where they got to go. But if they trade out,
then he's going to slip because then the quarterback thing is going to start. I think that's the only thing that
could
cause him to slide.
The Eagles need that to happen, right?
First off, I got to say something. What the hell are you talking about, Steven? Ain't nobody. First off, I don't even listen to the dial like that. All right. And I'll speak for myself and I'll speak for everybody else here. I can't speak for everybody else. I'll speak for my damn self. People can speak for themselves. Right. At the end of the day, I don't make my decisions and my thought process based on any of that crap. Because if you go back way before the dial was talking about it, right? We talked about it. So miss me with WIP, put a number on y'all. WIP don't even got the numbers we got. So we put a number on them. All right? The hit's on them. That's who the hit's on. The hit ain't on us. We ain't following we ain't followers. I'm not following nobody. I've never been a follower in my damn life. I don't make my decision based off of what somebody else says. Get the hell out of here. I wouldn't even be in the chat if I really believe that. If you really believe that, then why would you be in the chat then? If we're just regurgitating what you think WIP says. Then you're pretty much telling us that we're regurgitating information. I was thinking to myself, I never regurgitated shit in my life. Ever on these airways. Ever. I never did a video. I never did a show and coming up with somebody else's thought process. Knock it off. I've been talking sports since the time I could start talking. It didn't just begin. Frig out of here. There's enough dudes that are dry jocks doing this shit that are copycats. This ain't one of them. Sorry, I got to go off on that crap. I got no time for it. My opinions are nobody else's. They're freaking mine. And again, I'll speak for everybody, even though I won't speak for everybody, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't listen to sports talk radio when I'm in the car. I listen to music. I try and get away. So I don't remember the last time I listened to either one of the stations. So
I'm not going to tell you I never listened to
WIP's Phillies games. So
yeah, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you I never listened to the Cuz or I don't listen to Ike, but I don't regurgitate what they say. No. Knock it off. I'm more of a country guy. I like to listen to country in the car, but it doesn't mean I never dabble. I'm not going to tell you I never dabble. Sometimes you want a little fix. All right. So I'm not going to say never, but I ain't regurgitating it. Shit. Get a clue. I'll go punch myself in the face if I was in this chat listening. Thinking that, somewhere.
Yeah, just say you don't want Bijan at 10, Steven. Don't try and go like Dr. Phil, this is why you're thinking this. No, it's
and if you don't want him at 10, I think you're an
idiot. Is that some anime chicks as your profile picture? Oh my god.
You know what I mean? I just think you're an idiot. And I'm not a guy that's into taking running backs early. But this isn't the type. This isn't a team that was bad, people. Why can't you guys understand this? You draft the best player on the board. Stop with you went in the trenches. No shit. Well, our trenches are set.
I was gonna say we're already doing pretty okay in that department.
You're on 27 goddamn offensive tackles. Paris Hilton, knock it off. Knock it off. It's not even a pro style damn offense. All right, I guarantee if you went up against Will Anderson freaking takes his lunch money. Paris Johnson, stop it, dude. It just sounds like he stinks. Paris.
The fact that you dubbed him Paris Hilton in the first 5 minutes tells me he's absolutely going to be the pick. He's absolutely going to be the pick.
Yeah.
It just has that vibe. This is we're going to come back to this and be yep, this was our feelings before.
Stop with the fit, Steven. What do you mean better fit? They're both good fits. All right? Now you sound like you're regurgitating. Fit. What does that even mean? What does it even mean? So you're telling me the most explosive player in this draft isn't as good of a fit as Gibbs is? Come on. They're both really good fits. But stop it. Stop it. Because now you sound like that you just freaking jerked off to the dial 10 minutes ago. That's what you sound like. Or some freaking loser who does mock drafts that won't talk about fits. You don't even know what a fit is. Talent fits. Idiot. Not on your opinion about what we're saying. That's where you're an idiot. Besides that, you might be a good guy. I don't know. All right? But you didn't get off to a good start here. Billy Blue. I don't like idiots. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Just get a clue. Yeah, better fit. What does it even mean? They run the same style offense. What does it even mean? They both run an RPO style offense in college. God damn it. One was taking everything to the house on a team that wasn't even good, while the other one was taking shit to the house on a team that was loaded. So if you're really gonna put a gun to the head and say who's the better fit, I would say the guy who did more with less. And I think Gibbs is sensational. Steven, you shut up. Moron. You're another moron. I don't know, Steven, what they're going to do next year with Devontae. Maybe sign him? You tell people to shut up in the comments. Maybe sign him? Then go away. You don't got to be here. You want to go listen to sports talk in a goddamn library? Go ahead. Another moron telling us to shut up. You're going to talk about next year? What are they going to do with Devontae next year? I don't know. Give him money? Can't do this tonight.
You guys want to get into the simulator?
No, because then all these guys are going to be like, well, I think that was a reach. And I don't think he's a good fit. You don't even know me, Steven, so go away. Just go somewhere else. You listen to you came in an hour 30 in to somebody taking a shot. So you don't even know what you walked into. All right? So when you turn the corner, keep your head on a swivel. You get knocked out. Yeah, he might, Humberto. He might get paid more than AJ. He's probably a better receiver than AJ. It's just not. It's not a take people want to hear. You know, not a take people want to hear. See, appreciate the engagement though. Appreciate you, even though I just liked it for 10 seconds. Yeah, we can do this stupid simulator.
Sim time?
Mm-hmm.
Sim time.
Sure.
All right.
Steven, just say you're a bigger fan of Gibbs. That's all. Just don't say fit. You know what I mean? Just say, I like Gibbs more. And I'll say, okay. That's a good take. You know, maybe that is true. You know what I mean? Nobody knows this crap. It's all speculation, right, boys? It is. It's all like, I think this guy's the best player. All love to use too, Steve. Thanks for getting me fired up. You all two Steves. I mean, Steven. Unbelievable. Double Steves. Double Steves came double teaming. I like your guys' style, though. Appreciate you, though.
Well, you can only get that kind of engagement on ATD.
No comment about people named Steven, so I'm good.
Oh, we're doing this. I mean, you just that guy lives rent free in your bedroom. You know what I mean? He lives rent free.
I live in his house.
He's rent free in plenty of other bedrooms too.
Oh my
so
God,
I'm just like,
oh, get on with the damn.
Can we do a simulator, please?
Right, you got the sim. You got the screen to switch
let's
over.
just do the
I
draft.
think my food's about to be here.
What's your order?
This is a fat mess. You know. I went and got some things.
Oh hell yeah!
Can you guys stop the sim before 10?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I didn't know if it was just like a rolling clock here.
Oh no,
You know what
no.
I mean?
No,
I just
no,
want
I
to
can
be able to
stop.
grab the food so I didn't sit outside for a half hour, and then next thing you know, I got to scroll in my bag. You know what I mean? I'm eating lunch. I'm eating dinner with both Steves and a squirrel. The 3 S's.
It's like Christmas with the National Lampoon Christmas.
I do love everybody out there. I do love you guys all. I love that both guys could take the heat and they came back. That's what makes me respect the hell out of these even more.
No, we're doing all 7, right? All 7 rounds.
Yo, I'll leave right now.
God.
I got
Yeah.
You'll be doing it by
7
yourself.
rounds.
Yeah.
We're gonna start talking about guys that we pumping my gas in 6 months after getting drafted.
True.
No, I went Wawa, boys. Not a plug. You know what I mean? Not a plug.
Yeah, not as fun.
Yeah, not a sponsor, but went Wawa. If Gleason's delivered this far, I would absolutely get to Trenton. And speaking of that, our simulator is brought to you by Gleason's Bar. They're located 6700 Chrome. See you later. Located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue in Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D. You get 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. Gleason's Bar and Steaks.com is where you can find them. Go check them out. Tell them the boys from A2D sent you, and they'll take care of you.
Ralphie, before you start, you might want to put it on slow mode. That way, you're not it's not flying on you.
All righty. You guys ready? Here we go, baby.
Yes, sir, Johnny. We are doing the live draft next Thursday for sure. Oh, I just threw up.
You just want me to go and then stop at 10? Or you want me to go?
Just go one by one.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, why don't we take a stab on who we're taking here, right? Instead of just clicking.
Okay.
So, I'll say Stroud.
I'll say
CJ.
Right, Young.
Okay.
Bryce Young.
I will say C.J. Stroud.
I'm gonna go CJ too. I'll go
Welcome
CJ.
back,
too.
Ralphie. Welcome back.
I'm going to go Bryce Young on this.
I think it should be Stroud. I think it will be Bryce, though.
Greg, who'd you take?
Bryce Young. The only pick it should be.
Ooh.
I agree, Greg. I think he's better. I think they take Stroud now.
I would love.
Number 1, Bryce Young, Alabama. Number 2, Houston Texans.
This is interesting. Interesting.
Stroud.
CJ
It's
Stroud.
going to be Stroud.
Anthony Richardson.
Yeah,
So-
Stroud.
So you guys don't buy into they might not take a quarterback here.
No,
they
they're
might be
picking.
Anderson.
Yeah,
No,
they're going quarterback.
It's going to be clear that they will take a quarterback.
First 4 picks are going to be quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, okay. That's a bold statement. All right. Second pick goes to Houston. Seems like they're here every year. And it is CJ Stroud, quarterback, Ohio State.
Regardless, C.J.
Now
Stroud will
is
be the
Arizona,
highest
who
drafted
does
Ohio
not
State
need a
quarterback since
quarterback.
Art
So
Schlichter.
where does Arizona go?
No, isn't this Vegas's pick?
No, this is
No.
Arizona's
No.
pick. Can you read the screen?
I can read the screen. Hold on.
Vegas has not traded to number 3.
Is there a proposed trade out there? You heard, Kramer?
Do you want to trade Vegas to
read-
3?
Did you read the fake Adam Schefter? I've done that. That's happened to me.
Come on, Chrome.
This is Will
Really?
Anderson.
If they stay, it's Will Anderson. If they trade, it's going to be a quarterback. But in this
Oh,
thing, it's going to
I
be.
thought, I thought Vegas was in this pick.
No.
My bad.
Dude,
Yeah, this is going to be Will.
I'm
Will
going to say
Anderson?
Terminator on this one.
All right. Number 3, Arizona. Take Will Anderson Jr. Edge, by the way, Alabama. Number 4, Indianapolis.
Time to spit out his food.
What do they need, boys? Who's going here at number
Well,
4?
They really, I think the
Do
Colts
they go Kentucky boy?
quarter. I think that
It should be one of the
This is
defensive
what-
guys, but it'll be Anthony Richardson.
I think it's
I'll
going
go
to be Anthony Richardson.
Thank you.
But I would not be surprised if they go with Will Levis. Sorry.
Oh, I can't.
I can't with Will.
He puts
Levis.
mayo in his coffee.
I'm gonna
no.
go.
what
I'm
else?
gonna go
What
with
else does he
Richardson.
Sorry.
do weird
No.
too?
That's nasty.
There's something else
He eats
weird. too.
bananas with the peel on.
Yes, that's what it is. Yes.
So, side note, my confusion there was I heard a rumor that Vegas might try to trade up into
Ah.
with Arizona into that spot,
Yeah, I
Makes
also heard
sense.
about a Vegas
which I
trade
think
as
still
well.
could happen. So, my
So
bad on
4 is
good.
Indianapolis. I'm gonna say they take a quarterback here.
I got Richardson.
Richardson.
Yeah.
I think
Richardson.
it's
Right.
Richardson.
Number
And I'm gonna
4,
laugh all the way.
Indianapolis selects Willie
Oh,
Boy.
they went mayo and
Good
coffee.
Will. Good Will
Mayo
in
and coffee.
Kentucky.
Both are going to
Kentucky.
be horrible picks, so it doesn't matter. They think they're drafting their quarterback. You just go trade for Lamar right now.
Kentucky boy. Number 5, Seattle.
Can
on
I
the clock.
can I ask a question real quick on the Lamar thing? Do you think the Texans also make sense with trading their second first-round pick for Lamar?
Sure.
Where do they have?
I think
they
any of
have
these teams
12, right?
Yeah.
I think any of these teams in the top 5 that are looking for quarterback makes sense.
I agree.
You just have to be willing to pay it.
Now
That's
there
where it
is
doesn't-
trades.
That's
they
where it
will
might not
trade
make
with each
sense.
other.
I do think it's comical then. And I'm not listen, I think there's a lot of things that I am worried about with Lamar Jackson, mainly the injuries, right? And also the contract. Those are two very vital things when you have to consider trading for a guy. But if you take Will Levis over Lamar, okay. In a Lamar in a dome also?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, nope. Good luck to you. God bless.
So number
I
5,
think
Seattle.
I think it's a Jalen Carter.
They locked up
Yeah.
Geno Smith. What was it? 3 years, right?
I'm gonna
3 more
go. I'm
years
gonna
with Geno.
go. I'm gonna go Wilson here.
All right, Tyree Wilson. Chrome,
Yeah.
who we thinking?
Terry Wilson.
Frank.
So recovering from the Will Levis thing, I'm going to go Jalen Carter.
You're welcome.
All right. Seattle selects number 5, Tyree Wilson, edge, by the
He's
way,
still there.
Texas Tech.
Still there, guys.
Carter is still there. Detroit is on the clock. Don't need a quarterback.
It's. I think it's going to be Gonzalez.
Christian
Or
Gonzalez.
one of the corners. I'll say. I won't trap myself. I'll say it's one of the corners.
I'll go Jalen Carter here.
Don, how would you feel about Jalen Carter being a Lion?
Real quick, Ralphie, before you hit it, Greg, the only thing I don't like, listen, if you pair him along with obviously, why am I blanking on his name? The guy they took 2.
Aiden Hutchinson,
thank you. Or 3, whatever, top 3, wherever they had him. Dan Campbell, and I think he actually said things publicly that weren't like too great about Jalen Carter, but everything I've read is they like the high character people in there. You know what I'm saying? To where like that might be something where it's kind of like, maybe.
Yeah, right. This is a mock draft.
I'm just talking about on draft night.
No, I hear you. I hear you. No, I hear you.
Care about characters.
But this doesn't care about characters.
Yeah, they don't care. It's a freaking simulator. They took a mayo with coffee guy 4. Who cares?
Oh,
exactly.
Stop saying that. Oh my God. Stop.
But Frank, it's true.
I know.
He does do that though, Frank.
All right, let's go. Crum, who you got?
Right.
I can see Witherspoon here, but I'm going to go with Gonzalez.
Okay.
All right. Detroit at 6 takes Jalen Carter, defensive tackle, Georgia.
Carter does not care about characters.
The only reason I didn't like a cornerback there is they signed 2 guys, and then they traded Okuda. You know what I mean? Like, they signed 2 guys in their all-season. They were kind of like us with our cornerbacks. And then they traded the number 2 overall pick 3 years ago.
Wait. Who were the 2 guys they signed? Who were the 2 guys?
Oh, Jesus, I don't know. Don, where are you at?
But they were still in on Slay, though.
No, you're right.
So clearly they're not 100% confident with their secondary.
Vegas on the clock at
Sutton.
7.
Cameron Sutton was 1.
And I think the other one was
CJ GJ. Emmanuel Mosley.
Okay.
Emmanuel Mosley. And it's Will Harris was another one. They re-signed him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I still.
So, I mean, they made 3. You're completely right. None of those. I don't think any of those guys are Witherspoon or Gonzalez. But I just, when you revamp it like that, I just didn't see him going there top 10.
No, you're right. It's not a barren wasteland where it's just kind of like, okay, nobody's there except for like a random 6th-round pick that they drafted.
But they liked those guys enough that they said Jeff Okuda, see ya.
Well, I think that was more again on the.
And it could be more money wise.
Well, it was scheme thing. They changed the defense.
Oh, fit. Now we're back to fit talk.
Yeah, listen. I just repeat what I read. That's all. I just repeat what I read.
Vegas at 7. Anthony Richardson is still on the board at 7.
I've actually toyed around with the mock draft, and I've seen Vegas trade out of 7.
Okay.
So I think this might be one of those traded. I think this might be the first trade in this draft. But if they do stick around, I do see them taking either Anthony Richardson. Because I don't know how all in they're on.
I think Vegas trades up in the Arizona spot.
I think it's either going to be a guy to protect their current quarterback or a guy to replace their current quarterback. So I'll go Paris Johnson though. I'll change it up.
With number
Anthony
7
Richardson.
overall, Vegas selects Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, Ohio State, and Anthony Richardson is still on the board.
As he should be.
Number 8, Atlanta.
That means, but here you go though, right? Like right here at this spot, these next 3 picks
are crucial.
Are an Anthony Richardson, Stan, GM waiting to happen.
Yep.
Because neither of these next 3 picks, up until the Titans, no one needs a quarterback.
Right.
I mean, in theory, yes, Atlanta needs a quarterback, but you just drafted Desmond Ridder, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're going to go now waste a first-round pick, top 10 pick on another quarterback that's a project?
Yeah.
Depends on if they view him as a project, though. I think he's a project.
This to me is Christian Gonzalez.
I agree with that.
I also think this is a Christian Gonzalez, but you could also see, I've seen some mock drafts. They could take Bijan here.
Ooh.
This could be one of the teams that might take Bijan.
See, and this is where traditionally top 10 picks picking running backs is stupid. This is where that comes into play.
And this is where Bijan might end up in a bad situation.
Yeah,
correct.
Because they would need him. It's like, oh,
This
we're
is
bringing you in to be
CMC all over again.
Yes, well, it's a focal. Oh, we're bringing you to be in the focal point of an offense that last year their offense wasn't even throwing the ball. Obviously, it's because you have Mariota who doesn't throw the ball. But it was like, oh, okay, we're just going to run the ball to death.
Yeah,
it's kind of like, oh, well, let's do that, but with a highly touted pick. I think that's a mistake. That's how the guy lasts 4 years and is like ran into the ground by the end of his second contract.
And looking at what Atlanta's doing in terms of, who's getting the ball more, at some point during the end of the year, the shift went from Cordarrelle Patterson to Aligier. So it's like,
number 8, Atlanta.
I think they go defensive end here. I think they're looking for.
They traded with the Texans. There you
go, Chrome.
What was the trade?
I was going to say Miles Murphy.
Trade was 12.33 and a second next year to the Atlanta for Texans. Miles Murphy got selected. Edge, by the way, he's an edge.
For them, I was going to honestly for the Falcons. I was going to say Miles Murphy.
Oh wow, he was spot on.
Interesting. I think Murphy's there at 12 just by looking at the next couple of picks, right?
Number 9,
and he might be
Chicago
that's in an actual draft.
Yeah.
I think this is one of the tackles.
I'm going to go with Broderick Jones.
All right.
Anybody else?
Let's see.
Chicago
at 9.
I'll agree with that. They're going to look to protect.
They traded with Detroit. They traded with Detroit.
Don.
So 18, 48, and 81, Detroit selects Christian Gonzalez.
Ooh.
I'll tell you what, if they end up with Jalen Carter and Christian Gonzalez in the first round of the draft, that's a pretty damn good draft for the.
Yeah.
18, 48, and 81.
That's a great deal for the Bears, though, too.
Yeah.
Especially their defense needs so much.
And Don wouldn't hate it, so.
Ralphie, before you pick, when you go to 10, look at what the offers were, because they're probably going to send you 4 offers.
Where do I see that at again?
Well, when you go to 10.
No, wait.
Are you at 10?
Did he select the Eagles?
No, I didn't select any team.
Oh, okay. There you go.
All right.
That's why that's why I was waiting for the trades to pop up. I'm like, oh wait, that doesn't happen yet. But they still do the trades if they're.
So Richardson, Robinson, Jones, Witherspoon, Jackson Smith, Brian Branch is still there. Lucas Van Ness. Anybody from Iowa?
I'll lose my friggin' mind if they took Van Ness over Bijan. I will
this
lose
is gonna
my
be this would be
friggin' mind.
Bijan.
This would be Bijan or Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah, I want Bijan, but in the mock draft world, it's going to be Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. AI Howie selects Devon Witherspoon. You were right, Greg. Good job.
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah. AI Howie getting fired on night number 1. Nice.
Well, remember, it's a computer, so.
Yeah, AI Howie. That's what I said. Gets fired on night number 1.
My reaction would just be...
It's Closet Howie. That's Closet Howie. Not real.
The guy's talented, right? It's just my reaction would be, why now? That's all.
Yeah.
My reaction would be, he better be a Pro Bowler, or I'm sorry, I'm going to go a step further. Better be an All-Pro. So, because if he's an All-Pro, nobody cares. Yeah. Nobody's going to look back and say, oh, that was a mess, right? So it's about okay, whoever you take there better be that caliber of player, right? And I think that's all we're ever going to ask. I know who we want, right? It's crazy that they would skip over that over needs. So the computer's flawed, but yeah.
All right, Tennessee at 11.
It might be a quarterback. This could probably be Richardson, to be honest.
Could be Richardson. I think they also could go O-line as well.
I think Richardson. I don't know if they take 2 projects in a row.
I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say this is Bijan.
All right.
You think they're trading Henry?
Yep.
Are they
Tennessee
trading,
at 11.
Are they trading Henry here?
Jackson Smith, wide receiver, Ohio State.
I can see it.
They need wide receivers. Yeah, that's true.
Well, I mean,
they took a first rounder last year, though.
Yeah, they do and don't, right? It's not going to hurt Malik Willis to have more, but that's where I sort of felt like that Swiss Army knife would be a good fit there, even if they didn't trade Henry right now. Like, just in terms of weapons, right? To really run that RPO like they want to be able to run there and run it effectively, to me, that's a no-brainer because Henry's not built for that. It's not a fit RPO. We talk about it here. He's not built for that.
Real quick. So Don said the trade offer that Detroit gave earlier, I forget who they traded with. Who was
18,
it?
41, and 53.
Okay, so he says that
this one 1848 81.
81. Sorry.
So if they did that if they did that to us, would you take that to get out of 10 if Bijan's still there?
Yeah, I'd probably take that.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I'd rather have Bijan, but like I understand it. But again, I'm not trying to acquire 1,000 picks because I have so many the following year.
Well, these would all be this year.
I know. But like, I don't feel like I need 24 players over 2 years is my point.
Well, so that's a first, obviously, so we're swapping. I think.
Yeah, you're dropping 8. You would be dropping.
Oh, you got to think about it, right?
Yeah.
You're not like mad about it. That's a lot. I don't know if you even get that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a lot.
Because that locks me in, at least in my opinion, that I'm getting Branch. Then I could just get a running back later, right? Like, then I could do the Branch Gibbs thing.
Branch Gibbs, we're celebrating.
Yes. But at 18, you still might get Bijan.
Well, exactly. I think
the way it's going right now.
Fair.
So Atlanta on the clock at 12. They went from 8 to 12. They moved back. They traded. They got 12.33 and a second next year from Houston.
I would guess Skoronski.
I would guess Richardson.
I think this could be either Van Ness or Nolan Smith.
Yeah, I don't like it, but I think it's Richardson.
I think it's a tackle. I agree with Greg.
Yeah.
All right. Atlanta at 12 selects Broderick Jones, offensive tackle from Georgia. And Jets
never mind.
on
That was
the
from that
clock at
trade.
13.
Yeah.
Yep.
Protect too. So.
Well, I mean, they did. They did draft Ritter.
Not in the first round.
No.
You can draft Ritter all you want. I don't think Richardson's any good, but
I agree.
The Falcons are the type of team that would do that.
Yeah.
Like, they would go with that, like, high upside, guy who can fly around on turf. And before we go to 13 with the Jets real quick, I heard Lamar's name brought up when I was listening when I walked away. He stinks. I just want to make that clear to people. He's not good anymore. He's not. He's damaged goods, per se. And he's such a freak. He's so talented, right? But it's like the proof's there. It's 15 games over 2 years. Nobody's giving a first for that. And signing him, nobody is. Like, nobody's going to do that besides a bad organization that's desperate. That's what a desperate organization is going to do. And it's not a shot at the guy. He's super talented, but your best ability is availability, babe, and he's not. He's not. So, like, I don't want to hear about, like, Jalen compared to, Lamar. Like, Lamar has missed significant games with significant injuries. Right? Significant. Where Jalen's got, like, an ankle, right? A little shoulder. Like, nothing major yet, thank God. Knock on wood, right, boys? But, like, I mean, tell me I'm wrong. I'm fine with being wrong, but I think a desperate team does that. Not a good organization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's why I said every team in the top 5, right? Because they're top
desperate.
5
They're desperate.
Yeah, the only thing I disagree, and I'm semanticing you, is, like, I don't think he stinks. I just don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. Like, I don't think he's going to be trading for and then extending it. I don't play that game.
Well, let me tell you why I said stinks, right? He stinks because he's not on the field. So if I'm paying a guy that kind of money, I'm trading a first-round pick for him, right? Like, he stinks if he's not on the field because guess who's playing? A guy who does stink. Right? So that's why he stinks. I said, like, super talented. He's ridiculous. He's a freak. But if you're not on the field, you stink. That's like we've done that for years. Grant Hill, great player, never on the court. So essentially you stink. Especially you never lived up to the billing.
John, what happened to Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
Did he get traded? Did he get traded to Baltimore?
I guess he did.
Did him and Doug like fight in the locker room or something?
Jeez.
Because who was their quarterback last year when he went down?
Tyler Huntley.
Tyler Huntley.
Yeah.
Pro
Who
bowler.
stinks? Who
Pro
stinks?
bowler.
Who stinks? They scored like 9 points a game in a league where everybody scores. Like, come on.
Greg, I'm glad you did the Pro Bowler thing because if you didn't, I was going to.
Pro bowler.
So I'm glad.
Yeah, I'm not saying that. That's not regardless if it happened or not coming out of my mouth.
Jets at 13.
I think Skoronski here. I think they go offensive tackle, try to get some protection for Aaron Rodgers.
Skoronski.
I'm gonna go.
It's Skoronski. Unless the Rodgers things falls through, and they might need a quarterback.
I'm gonna go Branch. I'm gonna go Branch here.
All right.
I could see Skoronski or
Just trying to be different than what everybody else is
Van
saying.
Ness.
Skoronski.
That is a Jets pick, Greg. I like that idea.
Yep.
That is a very Jets pick.
I don't know if that's a Joe Douglas.
yeah.
I don't know if that's a Joey. I like Joe.
He did draft Zach Wilson.
Mhm.
just saying, he did draft Zach Wilson.
Well, did he or did that come, you know what I mean? Like that come from up top too, right? When you start talking about quarterbacks and front offices, like it almost I feel like 90% of GMs don't even make that pick.
Yeah.
All right. Jets at 13. Select Isaiah Folksky.
He's
worse.
good. He's good.
He's an
but
edge.
not-
Edge from Notre Dame. Edge from Notre Dame. And the Pats are on the clock at 14.
He's good. He's not top 15 good.
Yeah.
Oh Lord.
New England at 14.
Here's a
This is
trade
where I
coming.
think Skoronski goes then.
Yeah, trade's coming right here.
Could be
Skoronski.
freaking Bijan, to be honest.
Nolan
They like running the
Smith.
ball.
Yeah, well, they won't run him enough.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
think
they'll
I
draft him
think
and do running back committee again. Still.
I think Dallas is trading up here.
Oh.
my God, I'll be sick to my stomach.
That could be oh no.
Well, Dallas is at what 26. That's a
Yeah.
good jump. 26 to
It was a
14.
big jump.
Ain't a little one.
Nope.
I'm just having fun with it. Go ahead.
I could see it being Addison too.
Yeah. Addison,
They do need
Let's
Joey
see.
Porter Jr.
New England at 14 selects
Hey,
Addison,
I mean,
Jordan
that means
Addison, wide receiver, USC.
if it happened in the simulator, it's not happening in real life. We learned that the
Yeah.
last couple of years. So that,
Yeah.
Green
We're-
Bay
we're
on
just-
the clock
yeah.
with no Rodgers going forward. Jordan Love at the helm.
Anthony
Let's start.
Richardson.
Oh my God! Could you imagine?
I actually did see him.
I'm kidding, of course. I'm kidding.
I actually did see something like that where they did take Anthony Richardson.
it would be very
at,
Green Bay.
it's-
Where
Oh my
like
God!
it-
Yeah.
no, it would be very Green Bay if like this year they're like, oh, we definitely need a wide receiver, and
And
the
they
top
select
two
one.
wide No, the
Yeah.
top two wide receivers are already gone.
Oh my God!
This makes
Green
sense for
Bay-
a Dallas trade up right here. I'll go Skoronski. They had offensive line issues last year. I'll go.
It's gonna be-
Yeah, it's a good call.
All right.
I'll go
Let's
Nolan
see.
Smith to be different, though.
Green Bay at 15 selects
going tight end
Anthony
here.
Richardson, quarterback.
Remember, it's just a
I will-
simulation. It's not
I will-
what will happen in real life.
Panic
everybody.
again. I will enjoy that.
Washington at 16.
Bijan Robinson.
Yeah, right. Right. There we go.
Right in our division.
No, Joey Porter. They need a cornerback badly.
All right, let's see.
Yeah.
Washington at 16.
Smith.
Ringo.
Oh, they were corner.
Georgia.
They just took somebody who was projected.
Pittsburgh at 17 now. Don't need a quarterback.
Skoronski.
Yeah, it's Skoronski.
Skoronski.
Yeah, they need a D-R-O line.
All right. Pittsburgh at 17 selects. Good old Peter.
Skoronski.
Good,
Yeah.
Pete. Good for you, Pete.
So Chicago, this was the Lions trade. So they got 18, 40, and 81 out of it. So Chicago on
I feel like
their
this is going to be
first.
Bijan.
Yeah, this is their first pick.
I think this is Joey Porter Jr. They need defense.
I agree, Greg.
They do need defense,
Probably
but I
should
feel
be
like they're going
Bijan.
to take Bijan.
I agree with Greg.
All right.
Defensive-minded head coach too with Eberflus.
Chicago selects Cam Smith, cornerback,
what
South
corner?
Carolina.
Is Joey Porter dropping? Can we get him
Not
with
the right
30?
one.
Can we get him with 30?
Tampa Bay at 19 needs a quarterback, but all the quarterbacks are gone. So
Well,
Oh.
this is where in one of the mock drafts I saw
Hendon Hooker,
Tampa
anybody?
trade up and drafting certain
Oh,
quarterback, which I'm
Jesus.
not going to react to because it's
Tennessee?
going to spark a reaction from me. So I'm not going to say
Oh.
his name.
Coffee and mayonnaise.
Stop.
Nice.
Is
All
he still on the
Tampa-
board?
No.
No, he got Will
Yeah, I was
went
about to say.
for the Indianapolis. So 19, Tampa Bay selects. Let's see.
It's gonna be a tackle.
Robinson. Yeah,
Bijan.
Bijan
Makes
Robinson.
sense. They don't really have a running back right now.
They need to replace what's his face?
Leonard.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Leonard Fournette.
20 is
Playoff Lenny.
Seattle. Seattle
Who'd they
took
take
Trey
first?
Wilson with their 5th overall pick, who's an edge from Texas Tech. 20 overall now for Seattle. Brian Branch is there.
Oh, God.
Luke is still there. Joey Porter, Quentin Johnson,
think they
Deontay
go
Banks,
Quentin
Brian
Johnson
Brees.
I agree with-
Addison.
I go. I
Okay.
go Johnson.
I'm going Quentin Johnson here.
All right.
Yeah, Quentin Johnson.
Seattle selects
Miss on another TCU wide
Joey
receiver.
Porter Jr., cornerback, Penn State.
That's just kind of, I guess, looking at like best player available because the guy dropped a little bit.
Yeah.
All right, LA Chargers at 21, biggest choke artist in the NFL. Who are they going to take at 21?
Dalton Kincaid.
Agreed.
Addison.
Dalton Kincaid.
All right. 21 is LA, and they select Quentin Johnston,
I
wide
was just saying,
receiver,
wouldn't shock me if it's
TCU.
Johnson.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a thing about him about not getting an invite to the draft or something like that? I mean, to the green room, right? Or something like that?
Well,
Isn't there a story on
He
him?
probably dropped the call.
Uh,
Jesus Christ.
Coming in from the
yeah, there we
from the
go.
heavens.
He got the
Dropped
Italian
phone.
hoagie in his mouth too.
Couldn't
I
hang
know what
on
he
to the
got.
phone.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
amazing.
Oh,
Probably
okay.
true though. It's
No, it's-
amazing.
I
It's
don't see
probably
any-
true.
Baltimore at 22. Baltimore at 22. Branch
Lamar.
is still there. Lamar.
Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
Give me Branch.
All right. Ravens at 22. Select Nolan Smith, edge
Yep,
from
that's
Georgia.
An edge going to the friggin' Baltimore Ravens. That makes
Yeah, that's a Ravens pick right there.
Yeah, that does. Big school.
Minnesota at 23.
They need defense badly.
I
I'm going to
think
go Van
Deontay
Ness.
Banks.
Did they retain Harrison Smith, right? They gave him a new contract,
They
right?
did. Go Addison.
I'll go
They need to replace Thielen.
Thielen.
I think they
Well,
take
Addison got took.
Did he?
Yeah, he's been.
Yeah, he
Oh
went.
shit, my bad.
He went to New England.
I think they go Deontay Banks, go defense.
Give me
here.
Zay Flowers then. Give me the next
right.
wide receiver.
I'll go Van Ness.
All right, Minnesota at 23 selects Brian Branch, safety
Branch.
from Alabama.
Vikings
Now,
have something about taking guys that we want. I swear to God.
Jacksonville at 24.
One guy thought we needed a quarterback.
I say Kalijah
Can't.
can't.
Oh, next Aaron Donald, according to some people.
Apparently.
Apparently, depends on what you read.
Went to the same
Give me
school?
Kincaid here.
Okay.
No, because didn't they bring back Ingram, Greg?
Don't you need to? Do you trust Evan Ingram to stay on the field 2 years in a row?
I wouldn't sign him in the first place. I'm
He was
dealing with a
great.
team-
He was great for him.
Sure. Yeah, once he got out of New York. I'll go with Deontay Banks.
All right. Jacksonville at 24. Deontay Banks, cornerback, Maryland. Giants at 25. We're 5 picks away from the Eagles at 30.
Well, you need weapons for Daniel Jones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the wide receivers that are there are Flowers, Downs, pretty much all.
This could be Kincaid.
I was gonna say, who's their tight end? I don't even know who it is.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't even. I'm trying to think if they signed somebody. I don't think they signed anybody of note.
No.
Yeah,
Could
give
be
me Kincaid.
Flowers here.
Yeah.
Flowers is an option for sure.
All right. Giants at 25. Select
We can let it roll. I just don't know how much they want to.
Lucas Van Ness,
of course, it's
edge
Van Ness. That's
from
amazing.
Iowa.
I forgot he was.
But I just don't know. I mean, you already have Sterling Shepard.
Oh,
You know,
they traded for
how-
Darren Waller. That's what happened. Yeah.
Oh, he did trade for Dan Waddle.
That's right.
Oh,
I
I'm.
forgot about that.
But it's not like he's on the field ever.
Yeah, but you don't do both.
You don't
Yeah.
draft. Why not?
Dallas on the
I mean, they
clock
can.
at
They can do whatever they
26.
want.
I
Yeah,
think this
Daniel
is where
Jones,
this
This
is
is
Kincaid.
Kincaid.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
100%. Greg, I mean, the Giants can technically do whatever they want. They gave Daniel Jones $83 million over the next
Yeah.
2 years. They technically can do whatever. They did that.
Canty from
Aaron Donald
Pittsburgh.
Whose
Jr.
number
EAS alert
26.
system is on, by the way?
What happened?
What?
I heard somebody's EAS system go
Oh,
off.
yeah, it's my TV. Yeah, because we're just gonna
Is
play shit.
Is it
Make
just
sure
a
it's
test?
only a test.
Oh my god. No, it's not. No, it is.
Is it
Jesus
a commercial for the next Purge movie?
27.
27 is Buffalo at 27.
Give me that big moose from Florida. What's it? Torrance?
Oh, Cyrus Torrance.
Yeah.
Give me Gibbs.
Ooh, I like
That's a
it,
good
Tommy.
pick.
I like that pick, Tom. I would be so sad because it's another running back that I like that they're never going to friggin' use. Like, they took Cook's brother, and it's like, great, they're never going to use him.
We need a linebacker. I'm going to go Trenton Simpson here.
All right. Buffalo at 27 selects Brian Brees, a defensive tackle from Clemson.
Very Buffalo pick. It's a
Yeah.
very Buffalo pick.
Cincinnati at 28.
This could be Gibbs because of the Mixon thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mixon is
Yeah.
pretty much out. He's done.
Kincaid or Mayer here.
All right. Cincinnati at 28 selects Will McDonald, the fourth
Or not.
edge from Iowa State.
Okay, or don't help Joe Burrow. That's fine.
Gibbs is still there. He's still there. We'll see.
I feel like a lot of
29.
needs are being ignored here.
Yeah.
29
I mean,
New
this is a
Orleans.
simulation. We're all in a simulation.
29 is New Orleans.
Well, they might just trade this pick to the Eagles. So
Yeah.
Zay Flowers?
Zay.
No, because they already have Olave and they have friggin'
Is Thomas healthy, though?
wow. I'm not going to say anything Ralph said to me yesterday. I'm gonna leave it.
They need a tight
No,
end?
he's not healthy.
Do they need a tight end?
I feel like
Uh,
they've drafted
Will
like
screw it
3
up.
straight. Didn't they draft Tommy Troutman last year or 2 years ago or something like
Yeah,
that?
they did. Yeah.
And they don't
Timmy
need a
Troutman.
If I hit
Even
team
Tommy
needs, is it
Trout.
going to screw it up, Rye?
Say it again, Ruffy.
If I hit team needs real quick, is it going to screw it up?
I don't think so. If it
Okay,
does,
never
I'll just-
mind. I'm not going to touch it.
No, you got it. It was there. It was there.
Oh.
And if it
Okay,
messes up, I'll just blame it.
so,
I'll just blame it.
D tackle, edge, wide receiver, and tight end is what they're saying for the Saints.
I give him one of the tight ends.
All right.
Yeah, let's
At
go
this
with
I
Spinning.
think they're
All
going
right.
to take a
New
defensive
Orleans at
tackle here.
29.
DT for
Select.
Cromer.
Oh, there's a
They
trade.
went, oh.
Oh my God.
Jets.
that's a trade.
Jets traded
Wow.
42 and Becton to the Saints to
Former
get
first round.
Darnell Wright at 29 from Tennessee.
Well, I know Becton was on the trading block.
Well, I
so,
guess Aaron Rodgers had that on his list of commands. Trade with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So
Trade
Darnell
Beckham.
Wright, offensive tackle. So the Jets went tackle and they went edge with their first picks in the first.
Little Howie Roseman
Nice.
in the
All right,
trenches.
Eagles at 30. Kincaid is
Michael-
there.
Michael Meyer.
Myers there. Yep. Flowers is there. Gibbs is there. Downs.
I'll go.
Trenton
I'll go
Smith,
Ojulari.
Simpson.
I'll go Ojulari.
I'll go Jamar Gibbs.
We took Bijan.
No, he didn't.
Oh no, we took Witherspoon. That's right. Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry. Oh yeah. So
Remember,
Gibbs makes
it's
sense.
only
now.
a simulation.
All right.
I'm going to go with
AI
Ojulari,
Howie
too.
selects at number 30. Michael Mayer
Mayer.
from tight end Notre Dame.
Howie, just give me a call, buddy.
So if they went Witherspoon, so if they went corner tight end, what's everybody's reaction?
It's a terrible draft.
Yeah.
AI Howie, man. What
I'm
are we
friggin'
doing?
Yeah.
pissed.
I don't.
Very-
I don't
very
like the
mad.
AI.
Finish
on
out the
this one.
first round.
Very mad.
Yeah.
The Chiefs select. Let me see. DeJuan Jones,
DeJuan
offensive
Jones.
tackle, Ohio
Yeah.
State.
Well, if this is any indication, last year's simulation had us taking Karlaftis.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't good. Was not
Yeah.
good.
Remember, it's
Nope.
it's all pretend.
So Witherspoon.
And you got to see me react to certain picks, but
Nice.
Just say it one more time. Mayo and coffee.
stop.
thank you.
It's good for you.
No, it's not.
Good protein.
Yeah,
Yeah, fly.
not a great draft.
Very meh.
I've seen better in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, boys. Anybody got anything else? It's almost
No,
at 1
sir.
o'clock.
No, I
1
mean,
o'clock
just
in the
big-
morning.
Big
Sixers
Philly
tomorrow,
series
10,
coming up.
Yep.
Big Philly series coming up. Needed 3 out of 4, like you said early in the opening, Tommy.
Yeah, good win today. Turner got it started. Obviously, I thought Walker was good. After the first, he settled in. So our starters have been getting a little deeper. But the big key that I've noticed over the last 4 games is our bullpen's been way better.
Yeah.
So that's exciting to see. Some high leverage guys, not walking guys, right? Filling the zone up. And here we are. So it was a really good win today. It was a much needed win. And he's got to keep it going. So now it's time to go take 3 out of 4. Keep treading water because seems like Harper's gonna be back tomorrow.
Yeah, there you go.
So we all said it.
So it's good. I'm exhausted, but it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy for him. I didn't know how long our draft talk was going to be, so it was added in at the end, and we're at the end.
Sixers tomorrow, 10-9-8.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So should be another win. Go take care of business. Keep taking care of business. Excited for the second round matchup. No, excited just to get there.
I know, right?
Get there. Just get there.
Can't wait to see Boston again.
Yeah, the more time we have off, the better, right? So that's how I look at it. Same with them. I mean, they're. I don't know if they sweep, even though they started off looking to sweep. I feel like maybe Atlanta takes a game there, but we'll see.
Do we have to wait for all of the first round matchups to be done first?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's good too. So hopefully the Heat series goes a little bit.
Well, they got.
Yeah, I mean, the Miami Heat suck. So I'm not no fingers.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody really out there thought they were good. You get some playoff Jimmy once in a while, but they're not good.
Well, you had Heat Twitter. Oh, Giannis is out. Here's our chance. We're gonna win the next 3.
Yeah, well, one of their good players is out too, right?
Yeah,
only guy who could shoot threes on that team. Yeah.
Yeah. So, boys, great shit. I mean, not the simulator, but everything else. Yeah. Great stuff. Great stuff. Terrible simulator. Actually, it was so bad, it made me more tired than I already was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can we get that 40 minutes back?
Yeah, can we get that back? What happened?
Yeah.
I didn't know we were going to go that long just with our poll, which was great. We did. We had a lot to say early on. And, you guys can always go back and listen to it wherever you're watching now and everywhere you get your podcasts as well. Stay locked in here. Hit the like, subscribe, follow.
Don, you do like the simulator, though.
Well, Don would. Yeah, Frank, because he had a great
Don would.
He had a great draft. I mean,
when
Dan Campbell and the boys.
You have a tight end, a cornerback 3. That's not great. That's oh, okay, great. I'm glad that won't happen in real life now.
Right.
Yeah, really, our 4th corner.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Greedy.
No, you forgot about Avante.
No, I know. I was doing
yeah.
What about Grady Williams, guys? We can't take a corner for the next 7 years.
It's late. I would have been better with the draft if it just wasn't a tight end at 30. I don't know who else I would want. I'd have to go watch some highlight tapes of this guy because I refuse to watch Notre Dame football ever. Biggest fraud of a fan base and a team in the country, all based off a guy who was offsides. So I mean,
Jesus,
break him.
He love watching offsides.
Yeah, I do. Well, he didn't go in the first round. The guy I was talking about, Drew Sanders, he didn't go.
Drew Sanders, no.
I mean, he's a borderline first round.
Yeah, he's high second. Yep, low first, high second, depending on who's there. Right.
Really, I don't know. We'll leave it at this. Weakest draft. Weakest first round. Right.
Yeah. I mean, because the quarterback class is kind of meh, right? You know what I mean? After Stroud and I mean, there's a drastic drop in my opinion after Stroud and
Bryce.
I completely agree to that.
There's a drastic drop. The other guy shouldn't even be picked in the first round, but he had second round, maybe not even the third round.
Correct.
I mean, Will Levis.
Hendon Hooker to me is my 3rd best guy.
I probably agree with you, even though he's
carried Tennessee.
He's more of a one-look guy in Tennessee style of offense, right? Not a progression guy. Not that Will Levis is, or Anthony Richardson isn't either. But I think in the right situation for Hooker, I think he could develop into a good starter in this league. It's just. That's a fit.
I think he might stay home in Tennessee like the 2nd or 3rd round.
Yeah, I do see that
Wow.
happening with
And
Ted.
Vrabel really hates Malik Willis, huh?
I don't think. Yeah, I just don't think he's ready right now, and that's coming from Malik Willis' biggest fan.
I don't know when you get ready then.
Yeah, absolutely. You're not. You get your job taken by a hooker.
Since
Wow.
since the
we went there. I like it.
Yeah.
Bryce had that one
Tom,
sitting in
since
his
the-
back pocket.
Tom, since the first round so weak, it's a perfect example of come out of it with Bijan and Buda Baker, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I trade 30 for Buddha. I don't think I need to.
No, I don't believe you do either.
But that second can go. Yeah, a second. See ya. So I mean, you come out with Bijan. I don't know.
Ojulari and Baker.
And Baker. I mean, I feel like you're
All right.
You're leaving in a good spot. But boys, it was fun. Obviously, next Thursday, we will have our live draft coverage here from all the guys at HUD Radio. So stay tuned for that. And tomorrow night we'll have live Sixers second half reactions and Saturday as well. So stay locked in with us. And then you have Marcus tomorrow night, a pro fan talk, and then followed by a great fit and Birds of a Feather. I got that one. Yeah. Thanks for
Coming in with the edge rush at the end.
Yeah, I just was looking for a chuckle there late. Can't believe I spit that out so well. Great fit in A2D. Great fit here.
You said that so fast. I'm like, oh my god, did I think he said that, or did he say it?
I caught that.
It just flew off the tip of the tongue.
I wonder if
great fit at 9:30.
Last question. I wonder if they like mayo in their coffee.
I don't know.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, maybe Peter Young might.
Well,
I feel like Pete.
God damn it.
I feel like Pete gets a little deep into the mayo. In the coffee. Ted Hollis and Irving, May 5th. That's a Friday night. Hollis, Thomas, Irving, Fryer will start. The preacher and the player.
I love that name. It's such a great name.
Preacher and the player. So stay here, baby. Stay here. The draft is in Kansas City this year.
It is.
It is.
That sucks.
Next year's Detroit, right?
Yep.
I thought it was New Orleans. Somebody told me the other day. Wow, two terrible cities to go to.
Yeah.
Oh, Don
well,
flying.
Don's excited.
Yeah, nobody's coming. I mean, freaking still be
Somebody will visit.
It'll be snowing.
yeah, I mean, freaking freezing. Who wants to go to Detroit? I want to go to Detroit. Said nobody ever. So like, come on, Donnie. I mean, nobody really wants to go to Kansas City. All right, I get a little barbecue.
Barbecue.
That's it, Craig. Sit in a hotel room and barbecue.
Completely
All right?
agree.
All right, from a no
I've been
sauce
there.
guy.
There's not much there. Been there.
Drove through it. Not good. So where's the third? Where's the following year? Were we that deep? They have a spot.
Detroit, let's see.
Don,
I would only go to Detroit just to go to Winter Canada.
Show for us.
This is half everybody.
Yeah, we're gonna do the draft in the Great Mall of Detroit. I mean, grow up, Peter Pan. Nobody wants to go to Detroit. Now we're just throwing love to franchises that have been terrible for years.
Maybe there could be a
Little
road trip to
Caesars.
Detroit, Tom.
Home
There
of
was
Little Caesars.
Tom, we could have like a little road trip, A2D road trip to Detroit like we did last year.
I love a great car ride, but like anywhere but Detroit. You know what I mean? Like almost like anywhere but Detroit and Minnesota. Like two places I'm be like, be a little New Orleans up in here, right? A little Jacksonville, a little Duval.
Phenomenal.
Somebody told me that, which is weird. Guess they're not on the West.
WrestleMania's in Philly next year. That's something.
Mm-hmm.
Giddy up.
Yep.
Let's go.
Super excited.
I'm gonna get you
I
a
was just-
WrestleMania shirt.
I was just trying to find something to trigger you more than Edge. So I was like, I'll bring up WrestleMania.
Don, it happens all the time. I'm not good in the dark. You know what I mean? I hit my big toe in the corner of bed all the time.
Especially if there's a spider present.
Oh, get out of my head, Crow. I'm just going to be like, imagine if there was a spider down there.
Crumb, I've been killing so many. I had a bug guy come out today. And I had a guy come out. It was like 2 man.
Rome, get out here, Rome.
Freaking arachnophobia. Like I was killing one every 5 minutes. Like, knock it off, guys. Yeah, so Freaking two great destinations for the next two drafts. The NFL really just passing the baton around. We'll give it to everybody. Give it to everybody. Freaking Detroit. Goodness gracious. What is there to do in Detroit besides like go to General Motors? Like what do we do in Detroit? Like look at some cool cars? Like there's nothing to do in Detroit.
They're not even there anymore.
Well,
exactly. They're in China.
As I said, I would only go to Detroit just to go to Windsor, Canada, right across the Detroit River. So
definitely not going to Canada. That's true.
Definitely don't want to cross the Detroit
casinos.
River. You know what I mean? Yeah. Frank, it's not 1972. You know what I mean? We're allowed to gamble here.
Yeah,
we don't need to go abroad. We don't need to go abroad to dabble.
Just grab your phone.
I can lose money on my phone.
Yeah.
And what that? I'm not even going to read that off.
Canadian money too.
I don't even know.
He said that's what they do in Detroit.
Oh, I know what they do. I'm just not reading that off.
Oh no.
I know what happens in cities. We're not going to glass house you. We're not going to throw rocks over here.
That was my I didn't want to say it.
But ours was a nice part of the city, essentially. Right? Like if there's a nice part.
And it was 6 years ago. So.
Right? A little
6
less,
years ago.
Yeah, a little less violent.
It wasn't in Kensington, so we're all good.
Yeah.
It'd probably be a safer spot. Everybody's laying around.
Yeah. real chill environment over there.
Yeah.
We could draft Bijan and nobody would move.
No, that's a couple of zombies.
Literally just draft Bijan and everybody would just be like,
Season 8 of Walking Dead over there.
oh,
Why
God,
does Philly Jesus have bags of white powder on him?
Jesus, God, we're doing
Oh boy.
Hey Frank.
Bring Philly Jesus into this, Frank.
Frank, he won us a Super Bowl, Frank. He graced us with his presence, and literally 9 months later.
No, that's Kensington Jesus. My apologies.
No, it's Philly Jesus. It's on tape.
Oh,
Frank.
I know.
Frank,
I know we have Philly Jesus. Kensington Jesus has the bag.
Is there a Kensington Jesus though? Is there a guy like
Probably
walking?
is.
I think it's the
There's
same
probably
person.
like
I think
50
it's
of
the
them
same.
claiming
I think
that they're Jesus.
I think it's the same person, Tom. I think he's Kensington Jesus only on Tuesdays and Thursdays, though.
Yeah,
it's strange.
Frank, for you bringing that up, I'll just say mayonnaise on coffee. Have a good night.
Hey, and all you guys watching, by the way, comment and make sure you guys hit the like button before you hop out.
The reason, Don, is because of Detroit. All right.
We're trying to help you guys out there.
We were working our way out of here and then find out Detroit's hosting a draft for whatever reason. The next we're going to give it to Indianapolis. That's a fun place to go. Oh,
They already have the combine. They have enough.
Yeah, they do. Well, yeah, we could go hang out with Irsay. He's like Kensington. So
Friggin' live tweeting Jim Irsay.
He bought his stuff around the block.
Buys his stuff and goes right to the Twitter feed.
Hey, giving out inside info on his own team. Like a moron. All right, boys. Great show. We were brought to you by FanUp. They were definitely better than the simulator. They're the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NBA, and MLB contests now. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use our promo code A2D, and you get $50 right at sign up. And you can download FanUp on the Apple Store. They're super interactive. I think you're going to love them. So go check them out. For Frank Vespi, Greg Malkovic, Cromer, Ralphie, Ryan Brodo, I'm Tom Arnone. We appreciate you all listening, tuning in, all the comments, questions, aggressiveness. We soak it all in, and we can't thank you enough. Turn your damn alerts on, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and go follow us on all your social media platforms. It's almost it's 1 o'clock. We're out of here.